This is very good.
It is good.
This is very good.
Anyway, it turns out it's a rye. It's a rye. A French.
This is American.
No, there's rye in France.
Yeah, they brought it back, just like tomatoes.
There's rye in Scotland. Oh my gosh, you gotta try the.
Here we go. See, this is why we need to start. Welcome back to the Dirt Drive Podcast.
Oh.
Tom almost just ate shit with a plate of meatballs.
Where's the?
Making a mess of things already.
This week
Honestly, it was all my hand. We're good.
We are coming to you from an undisclosed location in someone's basement.
Undisclosed casket.
Ah, cask. Cask.
I think that was supposed
an
to be a
undisclosed
whiskey
location
joke.
from future past.
To talk some shit.
To talk shit. But we're back, if everyone remembers, from our special episode we tried to video record.
This is our first Christmas.
Yes, it was.
This is our first Christmas episode here.
We are back in Kayla's basement.
Was it really?
It was our first
Yeah.
Christmas episode.
Yeah.
It was like episode 25.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like we were here last week?
Yeah.
And we have like
That's-
at least 150
you got-
more bottles now.
150?
We probably have at least more than 150 bottles
Yeah.
since you all have been here.
I'm going to turn...
You gotta drink more.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying.
No, we do have at least 150 more bottles than we had when you were here last time.
But
Yeah,
is that 150 new bottles, or like your
Yes.
total was 300 and you're now 450?
That's new bottles.
So
How many bottles have you
How many
drank?
bottles have you finished since the last time we were here?
About 150.
No, maybe 4 or 5
Really?
at most.
So close.
At most.
Wow.
For having this much whiskey, you need to drink way more often.
Well, see, that's the problem. So the more you have,
The less you
harder
drink?
it is to drink it all because
This
you have
one's finished.
No.
to drink from.
Oh, that makes sense.
Just a nip here and a nip
we
there.
did finish this one, but I liked it so much that I bought another one.
Nice. So when you, like... Because you buy your bottles of whiskey and alcohol all over the world.
Yes.
So you're like, I really like this. So we've got to go back to, like, Botswana to find another one.
That's what he picks.
I don't know.
I also thought Prague was a country, so
I don't know where Botswana is, but
that's delicious.
Smells a lot better now that it's set.
Yes. So I think most of the time when we buy stuff that's rare, for example, the weeded Taiwanese
Is that
whiskey,
that's what that is, right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
it's really good, right?
That's really
We will-
good.
It's pretty light.
yeah,
we
I
will
like that.
likely never
That's-
get that bottle again. So I think most of the time when we buy rare, or not even, I mean, I guess they are rare, but when we buy bottles on travels and stuff, we know we're typically not going to get another bottle.
So you buy 5.
Sometimes we buy multiples when we can. Other times you just know you're going to get the experience of that one bottle, and then you're going to move on to
Well, so
something else.
that's what I did when I bought the Lagerville and Offerman, the new one. I bought 2 bottles. I bought one for myself for a special occasion. Then I bought one for my buddy Jose. He's an 80 Series Land Cruiser, and he got into whiskey because of our first episode here. So
Oh
now,
my gosh.
So now he collects whiskey.
Someone actually listened to that train wreck?
That's what I'm saying.
Propagating.
That was
podcast is a train wreck and people listen to it.
yeah, but we've gotten better at like we're off the rails, but we're like parallel to the rails.
Yeah, we find them.
that episode.
No, we build them.
Yeah. That episode, like there were no rails in sight.
No.
Since you haven't opened your Offerman, mine from I think 2 years ago is open. If you
Okay.
want to
I think
try it
I think I
later.
tried that last time we were here.
Probably, but
Because I brought it up, and I'm
I
like...
have better Lagavulins too that you
Oh,
can
yeah.
try.
Yeah, because I remember I really liked your Lagerville and Offerman. Because this is their 4th edition of it.
Yes.
And I was surprised by that.
I know you're making me nervous every time you take a bottle off that shelf and put it
Don't worry,
back.
she makes herself nervous.
Oh, it's fine. We do have some really cool Lafroigs that I would love to share. They're from so
Bless you.
Lafroig.
You beat me too. I was going to say it. I'm like, I'm not going to be an idiot. I'm not going to say it because I'm not stupid. Haha, PJ.
Yeah, but it's not dumb when PJ says it. So
Oh my gosh. Lafroig just started their barrel pick program for America last year.
Okay.
And so Jack Rose and Julio's, which is in Massachusetts, were the first 2 entities to be able to get a cask of Lafroig. So I have the first Jack Rose bottling, which is still closed, but I have the one open from this year's release, and it's really good. So I can share that one. But anyway.
Yeah, I was surprised. So like I said, I bought that. That's the first nice bottle of whiskey I've ever bought, and I'm worried about opening it. I'm like, because I'm not gonna drink it.
It would be fine.
So it's just as long as it's not in sunlight and has like mostly full, it's good forever almost.
Yeah, even half. I'd say once you really get to like the bottom quarter of a bottle, then you should consider decanting it into like one of the little
so
mini
you can just
bottles
put it
or
in
something.
another smaller bottle and
Yep.
it's still fine forever.
Yep, that's why there's so many of these little ones too. That
didn't
all
know
comes
that.
from
Fun.
Yeah. But as long as it's not direct sunlight and like you're not opening it every day to the elements, it'll be fine.
I should move my whiskey
Yeah.
rack.
Is
So,
yours
and
in
it-
the sunlight?
Not
Yeah, it's-
directly.
it's not directly.
It's hanging on a wall in my kitchen.
PJ's just poured himself a nice dram of mead. I don't know. I've never tried mead. I don't know if that's a
Neither have I,
hoot
so I
sound.
don't
Oh,
know.
there are some good meads.
Yeah.
It's just honey, right? Is it just aged
fermented
fermented
yeah,
honey?
fermented honey.
It's
like one of the oldest-
If you boil
It is
any
the
sugar
oldest.
long enough, it becomes alcohol.
Yeah, it's the oldest alcohol in existence is mead.
Yeah.
That I wonder. I guess we'd have to look because Q spelled CHU. It's like
You say bless you to that.
It's a sorghum that's
We found out what sorghum was.
that
Kansas is the country's leading producer of sorghum.
sorghum. Amazing.
fact.
Well, Q spelled.
It's also the only
Chew,
thing in the entire state.
is Chinese sorghum that they make baijiu out of, which is like their
Bless you.
grain alcohol. I guess you would like our. It's like Chinese moonshine.
Okay.
So, and it's pretty damn old too. So I think they probably compete with each other.
That and whatever the Egyptians used to eat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Their
true.
workers.
Probably meat, right?
Sewage.
It was
Historically speaking.
something more akin to like bread water, essentially.
They had, I mean, Egyptian wheat
Bud Light.
was like their main product.
Yeah, and so like
That's
they.
right.
Well, it was a weird. The way they look at it is it was alcoholic, so it would keep everyone kind of lively, keep spirits up, but it also was sort of a food, so because it would actually fill you up and kind of sustain you.
But heavy.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's probably up there with the oldest too. But mead is one of the oldest, like, documented alcohols actually in production.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to bullshit and Jeeps.
Yeah, back now
Slander.
on the
Yeah.
slander.
The slander
part.
On the
part.
slander.
Yeah, welcome to the Whiskey Slander podcast, where we get
That's
super
honestly
drunk.
a great name for a podcast. Can you start a podcast and call it Whiskey Slander and
With-
go
with-
through
with
all
Travis
the,
and AK.
and you go
With
through
Travis and
like
AK.
all the different types of
Travis
whiskey
has
that you're
the
drinking?
best podcast voice we've ever
You
had
look
on here.
terrified now.
I mean, sure, but that would take a lot of time, and I have enough hobbies.
It's like an hour a
CrossFit
week.
isn't a hobby.
An hour.
I don't do CrossFit.
Oh, that's
Get out.
That's slander. We started
That's
slander.
slander.
Hey, someone had to start it.
This is an 81 Honda. How dare you?
Oh boy.
So where do we start with the slander? Because I know none of the
I
story.
got cut off in traffic by a DeLorean the other day. I just wanted to put that out
Was
there.
it a Cybertruck?
You sure it wasn't a Cybertruck?
Oh,
No,
sorry.
no, it was like actually a DeLorean.
Did it
And I
get
was
to 88
like,
miles an
I'm not
hour
even
and
mad.
disappear?
I'm not even mad. Now, if the
Well,
Cybertruck cut me off,
I feel like we should start this by asking
Okay.
Kayla, how does it feel to have a running, driving Jeep that actually functions properly again?
We could also ask that to PJ, but
it's incredible. It's incredible. My endorphins are back. Right? Okay, the best thing about having a Jeep, especially in
Just
the
driving it?
summertime,
You're just
is
using all the
driving
big
it.
words.
so what do you do with the top? Because you park it out in your parking lot. Where's the top? Is it just like in the
Easy.
backyard somewhere?
Did you see the fence in the front yard?
That's genius.
It's
You
the,
built a fence for your hardtop?
maybe. That's also where the HVAC and the trash is,
That's-
but it happens to be big enough
That's where the hardtop
to
belongs.
store my hardtop.
That's genius.
But I
Dedication
have a
to the
soft
Jeep
top,
life.
so
Okay.
in the summer, spring, early fall, I keep the soft top on, and then I put the hard top on
That's
for the winter.
the best way to own
So,
a Jeep.
so I will put in a quick
if you don't
disclaimer
have a garage.
Yeah.
To our local listeners that are going to be able to figure out exactly what we're talking about. This episode is not an advertisement for DirtNerds Motors, but more so
It's an anti-advertisement for
a warning.
Anti-dealership.
A warning.
Anti-dealership.
which is funny
dealership.
because 2 weeks ago we had an episode where we praised the dealerships.
You know, I will argue. You can't call them a stealership because
was all warranty.
They made zero money on this. Like Like they lost their opportunity to make any
No,
little
if
bit
anything,
of money
the
they
rental
could
car company is the one who really made out
Yeah.
on this whole endeavor.
Yeah. So yeah, quick disclaimer. We tried.
We tried.
We tried to help and be helpful, and
Mama tried.
they just they did this to themselves.
The advertisement podcast is soon to come.
Yeah, I still don't want the podcast to be just a giant like jerk off session for our own shop.
Okay,
Well,
but,
get ready.
okay, but without you all, I don't know that I have a functioning Jeep right now.
I completely agree. I think they would have talked you into buying a new Jeep,
Yes.
and I'm actually surprised they never brought that up to you.
Well,
I think because they knew she had us in her back pocket,
I
and
see.
we were double checking
That-
everything they were talking about.
Yeah, but that still doesn't mean they couldn't just write that off as we don't know what's wrong with your Jeep. How about a good deal on your trade-in?
Sure.
Which they did offer. So that's the dealership that I went to sell my Jeep.
Hello,
A year ago, they offered me
I know.
$27,000 for my Jeep.
Yeah.
They're offering
we-
good deals for
we-
Jeeps
we
too.
have-
So I'm
we-
surprised. I'm really surprised they didn't.
We have a customer,
and
who,
I've got the same Jeep you do. I've
Yeah.
got a white 2-door
hers
hardtop.
is better.
Yeah,
Yours is better.
Hers has high altitude.
so
it's
it's
The
got-
winter SUV.
Yeah,
Oh, it's got the cutie patootie package.
it's got
It does.
it's got
have the
stickers.
cute- yeah, it has stickers. And it has little mountain ranges on the
Aw,
dash.
that's the cutie
Stickers.
patootie package.
They're stickers.
Stickers.
Wow.
Wow.
We have
That's my TISM word of the day.
we have a customer who had a 4xe that brought it in for the battery recall, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't have a fix. Have a nice day." And he went, "No, buy it back." And they gave him like full retail trade in, and
Nice.
he left with a non 4xe Rubicon for less than what he was paying for his 4xe.
Okay, well, spoiler alert on the whole story. They did make me an offer. Do you remember?
Oh, they did.
offered, well,
I don't remember that.
in theory, when they were talking to my husband, Giuseppe's here. He's
he's-
just not.
He's the distant
Active.
voice.
If
He's
you
a
wanna-
distant voice 3 feet away.
Yeah.
If you want to come and talk, just come give me a tap and I'll give you a mic.
owns a Jeep. There's no reason there.
Yeah.
So there was the thought that the, how do we say, the service manager? Can we say that?
Yeah. It's a dealership. We know.
Yes. Great. So the service manager did vent their frustration when they called Giuseppe and said, I thought about putting the extended warranty on this thing and driving it off a cliff. So that was the offer that I got from the dealership.
Wow.
I do actually remember that.
They said that?
Yes.
Yes.
I thought you said that
No,
to them.
no.
They
no,
called
no.
Giuseppe and
No, no.
he said
Colonel
that.
Mustard told me.
Yes.
That's what the...
Yes.
Please tell me you recorded that phone call.
No, but they did for training purposes.
This is what not to do.
Oh my!
So
God.
we have to put this little like caveat in there. The reason that Giuseppe was so hot throughout this entire process was because he was the one who actually broke the Jeep.
Yeah.
So wait, we need to start at the beginning because I don't know the story.
all right, yeah.
I
Just
wasn't
give
at the shop.
Kayla the
Yeah.
microphone
Okay,
and just let her go.
I gotta try to get the elevator pitch of this nearly year-long saga.
Because I don't
Okay.
work at the shop. I know none of this story.
Wow. All right, let's catch you up to speed. So I think it was maybe September-ish last year.
Dramatic as you can.
Dramatic. Got it. Okay. So
was 2024.
it was very cold outside. No, I'm just kidding. It was September, so it was like very mild weather.
Yeah, top off weather.
But I was leaving to go to Omaha, Nebraska to visit a friend. Giuseppe drove me to DCA, to Reagan, dropped me off. I'm going through security and I get frantic phone calls from him. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, the damn Jeep won't move. It won't move. It'll start. It won't move. Like, you could shift through the gears, right? I have an automatic, but you could move through the different gears.
Prendo.
Wouldn't go anywhere. Motor will run, turns on, all of those things. So, I mean...
No engine lights.
Yeah, no dash lights on or anything. So this is a whole other saga, but it took like 8 hours for him to get towed from the airport, and that was on Jeep. That
From
was,
DCA took 8 hours.
Yeah, so we used Stellantis's roadside assistance because it's free. And hindsight, should have called my car insurance company from the
Oh, yeah.
beginning. So literally for almost 8 hours, they strung him along on like coming to pick him up, and they kept calling me like, "Oh, we got police diverted us somewhere else. Because anyway, finally, I just said, forget Stellantis. I filed the tow with Geico on my insurance, and then they were there and they picked him up.
Were you doing this all from the plane?
Yes.
Wow.
That's impressive.
And then so thankfully I had Wi-Fi on the plane, and I was like controlling everything on my app because I am the owner and I have all the anyway.
Yeah.
So finally he gets home. The Jeep is towed to a Northern Virginia dealership that will remain undisclosed for this podcast. Hindsight, wish I would have just towed it to Dirt Nerds. Anyway, so it's towed there. I get a call the next day, and they're like, "Hey, why is your Jeep here?" Of course.
Fair. Good question.
I was like, "Well, it won't drive anywhere." So they were like, "Oh yeah, we tried to move it and it didn't go anywhere." I'm like, "Well, yeah." Anyway, I was like, "Assume there's maybe a transmission issue. I don't know." And so, a couple of days go by, and I think I frantically call Trevor, and I was like, the Jeep dealership just told me it's going to cost $11,000 to put a transmission in my Jeep.
Excuse me?
Yes.
So I will preface this that after you had that conversation with
You
Trevor,
got shit all over your shirt.
it's fine. It's not on video. It's an audio
just pork
podcast.
rinds.
We have to look at you.
You're used to it. Anyway, Trevor comes out in the shop and he goes, "So the dealership's telling Kayla it's $11,000 for a transmission." And I said, "Abso-fucking-lutely not." And I said, "I can guarantee you it's a 10-cent plastic clip. And if anybody with a automatic JK knows, there is a plastic clip that holds the cable onto the end of the transmission. And I to this day will tell you that
We had just dealt with one before that.
Yeah, like the week before.
Yeah.
The same thing. They literally towed in going, "My Jeep won't move. I don't know what's wrong with it." And it was literally a 10-cent piece of plastic, and it was fixed in 5 minutes.
Wow.
And it's like, you drove all the way to the airport, so 45-minute drive in traffic, stop and go, shifting gears, with no
problem.
symptom of a bad transmission.
At all.
And then you put it in park, and it no longer came out of park. Like, when transmissions explode, they don't have... Park is the first thing to go.
Oh, yeah, which I know because of the rest of the story.
You also drove an old Ford, and they had good transmissions.
The transmission was fine,
Yeah.
the motor.
So
Yeah.
I remember...
It's the opposite of Chevys.
Yeah, I remember, like, telling Trevor, I'm like, "We need to go over in the middle of the night with the bushing. Just put the bushing in." And I'm like, "You know what? It's under warranty. Like,
Let 'em
even
figure
if
it out."
even if they're claiming it needs a transmission, they're probably just gonna put the bushing in it, and then everything will be fine. It won't be a big deal."
What year is your Jeep? Is it like a 17 or 18?
2017.
Okay.
Yeah, so my transmission had been super healthy, and I think you guys had just serviced it too. Like, we had just done something to it.
I think we did the transfer kit. We normally don't touch the transmission
Yeah.
for
that
this
reason.
reason. But
Anyway, everything was fine. We did make the drive, no problems at all. There's just no sign that my transmission was unhealthy at all. And the chances of a true catastrophic failure, like instantaneously, kind of low.
Yeah, in park, it's zero.
Yeah.
It's not low. It's
in park.
It's
In park.
Like, I'm sure there's a transmission guy somewhere who will tell me I'm wrong, but like,
Yeah, unless the converter eats itself idling.
right? Like
That's
unless
the only
unless
option.
it's dry and you burn the pump up. But even at that point, like,
You'll know.
it's gonna creep. Like, if it has low pressure because the pump is burned up, you're gonna get rolling in first gear, and then it's gonna shift into second and third, and you're not gonna make it up the hill.
Yeah, this was nothing.
Yeah, it's like you don't go from
dead.
park to nothing without chunks of metal and fluid sitting underneath the vehicle. Like,
Wow, PJ, that's a lot of mead. It's
I
a
need
little
you.
meaty.
This is the
PJ's a meaty
Scottish
boy.
rye.
Quick intermission to the
Wanna try
story. What whiskey is
Yeah,
this?
what are we tasting? We have to.
I gave you Brooklotti, my favorite distillery, their rye called the Regeneration Project. So this is a Scottish rye.
Okay, so is it a Scotch then? It's a Scotch rye.
It's a Scottish rye.
So it's not a Scotch.
It's not. It's just
It's not Scotch.
okay. That's fine.
So
I'm just-
what makes
It's a single grain.
what separates it between being a Scotch and a rye?
It's made in Scotland.
Yeah, but if it's a rye made in Scotland, doesn't that make it a Scotch?
No. So it's a single grain
dumb.
whiskey. It's not like a.
Smells good.
It's not barley. It's not barley.
So Scotch has to be barley.
Yes.
It's like bourbon is typically corn.
Yes. Scotch is malted barley.
More than 50%.
More than
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scotch is malted barley.
Yeah.
Um.
It smells,
So-
it smells fantastic.
when you see things as and
You know
there
what
is
it kind of smells like?
look, you can go to Reddit and you can find a lot of people
It's a dangerous
arguing
place.
about like the single grain is Scotch. Scotch is like because technically when you make malted barley into booze,
The amount of time you
that
spend
is
on the
single
internet
grain.
reading about whiskey is the amount of time I spend on the internet reading about
Jeeps.
cars and Jeeps. So I don't have time to just.
Loves out.
I'm
Yeah.
impressed. Yeah.
But
But there is some like
does anybody remember Waffle Crisp, the
yes,
cereal?
yeah, of course,
That's what this smells like to me.
it's very good.
There's like a little. I get a little bit of maple. I get a little bit of vanilla, and a lot of whiskey. And I'm
A
excited.
lot of whiskey. But there is some discourse on like, I mean, because technically, if you made something that's malted barley, that's a single grain. Like barley's still a grain.
And it
but-
tastes nothing like it smells.
Anyway,
It's good.
Yeah.
I don't taste any maple. Any
Tastes
maybe
like Cookie Crisp.
maybe it's what you had in the
had
thing
it
before
wasn't
because
now I don't smell any of
you
that.
had the sherried whiskey in there, so maybe anyway.
I mean, it's good. It's
The
tasty.
face Giuseppe
It's really good.
gave you was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
It was definitely the previous whiskey.
This fucking guy.
So you could call this Scotch, but in Scotland they are calling it their single grain because it's a rye. It's not made with baarley. So anyway, okay.
back to the Slander.
Back to the
that's the
story.
whiskey. Back to the Slander.
Okay, so they called me. They're like, you need a new transmission. And I was like, huh, weird.
I called bullshit.
So
Weird, and that's when I called Trevor, and I was like, they said I need a new transmission, and it's gonna be $11,000.
So from the service side, what the hell would make a transmission $11,000?
Parts and labor.
So
Oh, thank you, Trevor.
So well, no.
You asked a dumb question. I gave you a dumb answer.
So out of curiosity, we ended up quoting it ourselves, buying a non-Mopar Reman transmission, and we were still like $8,500.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
because
$8,000.
when my
It's
6L
on the Jeeps, surprisingly, it's like
the transmission was like $4,000.
yeah.
when my 6L80 went in my 2014 Silverado, that quote for a new transmission in a 14 Silverado at the dealership was like $5,500,
Yeah,
which
So
is wild.
the
So that's why I'm blown away by the
boat time
$11,000.
was like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, dude. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like it's surprisingly
Which it
on the JKs, it's actually long.
and
Between the two, it's like 12 to
the,
16
the
hours.
only
of
thing
book
that
time.
throws me off about it, and I think honestly, I think it's the torque converter bolts are a pain in the ass to get to on the automatics, because like a clutch job book is like 7 hours.
Yeah.
But they're probably like e-torques too, so you need a special tool,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
hidden.
Yep.
And they also they want you to
And remember,
take the
dealerships are
transfer
like
case off
$200
and-
an hour.
you're pulling the
They're
exhaust.
charging
I
1.7
hate dealers.
times
I was
the
gonna say
time.
their multiplier's probably 2
Yeah.
at a 12-hour job.
Yep.
Plus you're talking 12 quarts ATF on the Mopar level, which is probably $30 a quart.
Jesus.
Yeah, I want to say it was either
mean,
12 or 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the cheap ATF plus 4 is
It's like $15 a quart.
It's like $18, $19
Yeah,
a
something.
quart.
and vinegar chips.
Salt and vinegar chips.
Salt and vinegar chips.
Salt and vinegar chips.
DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
vinegar chips.
He was like, project.
You can just yell.
DirtNerdsOffroad.com.
Thank you, Giuseppe.
We normally just yell at each other.
I love salt and vinegar chips.
But yeah, it
doesn't?
was definitely one of those where like
Oh, I have cookies.
they were. It was high.
Whiskey, slander, ADD,
And cookies.
and cookies.
Like when we quoted it out at like
dying?
8,500, it was like I can easily see how it's $11,000 at the
At the dealer,
dealership, like easily. But
Plus
thank-
diag time, test
Yeah,
drive
it's-
time, all the other bullshit.
like
they do.
she sent over the actual
Invoice?
like invoice, the estimate, and it was
Oh, she has it.
Well, those are the
yeah.
I think the afters. Let me give everybody some water.
That's a good idea.
What's happening?
Water.
So I
that is a
remember
great
I
idea.
remember the conversation also including a part of we're not sure if it's going to be covered under warranty,
Yep.
and that's why you were
Yes.
freaked out by the number
Because she
And-
had the extended warranty on the
and it's
vehicle.
like there's like that. This is literally what a
Because I
warranty
brought
is.
it certified pre-owned.
Oh, CPO.
ding ding.
CPO3.
CPO3
C3PO?
RD2D.
Anyway,
It's the best way to get a job.
so
What's for me? This one?
So my reaction was, there's no way it's not covered. Go ahead and approve it.
Thank you.
And if they don't cover it, we'll do bad things to them.
Like record a podcast
Yeah.
and not mention their name. All right, Kayla, back to $11,000 where we interrupted you.
this yours?
That was mine. That had the cheap rum in it.
No, that was.
You guys need a bigger bar.
This one.
Okay.
I don't
She,
know who's this
you have a
was.
nose for
You need to
cheap
make
rum.
this an L bar.
You need a bigger one? We do.
Basically, the moral of the story
That was
was
yours. Oops.
magically
Yeah, that one.
it was going to be covered under warranty.
Yeah.
This is your new glass.
So yeah,
Okay.
so now all of a sudden, after scaring the shit out of her for no reason, they came back and said, "Oh, don't worry, it is covered under warranty."
Oh, thank you.
But it's what they tell you originally, like
It was
10
a month,
weeks.
Yeah, it was like a month and a half or 2 months.
Oh yes. So they were like, yes. Unfortunately, there's a strike.
Oh,
There's a
that's
worker
right.
strike.
It was in the middle of the UAW strike.
It was a strike,
That's because we couldn't get parts either.
Nope.
That's right. That's
and so it was going to take a
about
month
that.
to 2 months for the transmission to
Yeah.
come in, and so it did take about a month and a half that it just sat there.
Oh.
They did not give me any loaner vehicle during this time. Despite me saying, "Hey, do you have anything?" They were like, "Oh, well, we can get you a rental, and it'll be $45 a day." And I was like, "Cool, I have American Express, and I can get one for cheaper. So,
Yeah.
no thanks." So
They didn't cover you. Did they cover your rental car in the long run?
no, nothing. Actually, this
Eventually.
paying customers.
Excuse the
this,
fuck out of me.
Okay, so this just spoiler alert for this whole saga.
COVID ruined that.
I got
whole
nothing.
Thing. Yeah.
Well, you got a working Jeep.
Now.
After
After
Anguish.
they've
Because
had
we solved the problem for
No, no,
them
you-
after 9 months.
You
Wait,
got,
all
you
right,
got-
let's go
you got
back, let's
something.
go.
You got heartburn,
okay, I had
stress,
yeah.
and anger,
I
and
got
blood
a
pressure
rental.
issues.
I did get a loaner from them for 1 weekend
With free drugs.
with free drugs.
Oh, hell
Yeah, okay. So I had to go to Philly for work, and I was like, "You guys have to do something."
We're jumping
like,
ahead again. We're
yeah.
bad at this. Because that
this-
loaner comes later in the story, if I
Later.
remember
Okay,
correctly.
okay. So we'll back up. We'll back up.
chronologically, boys.
Yes.
So-
And girls.
chronological- okay.
Yeah,
Yes. So
first transmission. Spoiler alert.
Oh, sorry.
spoiler alert, we're on number 4 with the original transmission. So this is 4 transmissions that have been in my Jeep. And what makes me really sad is like,
It's almost as many trans that were in your Jeep coming here.
oh my god,
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Happy Pride Month.
All right, no more whiskey for Tim.
Okay, so I wait a month and a half ish.
I'm sorry.
Bless.
Fuck.
Tim's gonna pee himself.
I hope so.
Pride Month is
Tom
just
and Tim are
full swing
both
right
just-
now.
That'd be the highlight of
Cackling.
my day if I pissed my pants.
Why do I feel like we're back in Moab all of a sudden?
Little Timmy Pee Pants.
That's what they called me in high school.
Would you like some whiskey, PJ?
Yes, please.
Okay.
He's chugging his mead.
He's chugging the mead. What should we give PJ? What's something weird? Definitely.
Back to the whiskey.
What are
Pausing
you
the
trying to
slander.
say?
Oh my gosh, I have this Taiwanese whiskey that tastes like. Have you ever had bubble mint gum? Like Orbit bubble mint gum?
This does not sound pleasant.
It's not, but
That's why we're giving it to
that's why we're giving it to PJ.
She bought it and she has to
it.
get rid of it.
I don't.
I'm in.
Okay.
I mean,
Just let me,
PJ's
is it-
down
do
for
you remember-
adventure.
It's the yeah. It's,
can't be as bad as 6 hours in an
How do you
AutoZone parking
remember
lot.
mean-
this?
I do have a SpongeBob Pokemon mashup tattoo
Okay,
on my
but-
leg, so
Dude, you don't say no to a lot of things.
PJ, look at the bottle art for these.
Woo!
Freaking
Oh
incredible,
wow, those
right?
are actually beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
this is Holy Distillery out of Taiwan. They're actually great. This is incredible dram. This one's just weird.
This reminds me of Trivium / a video game.
Orbit bubble mint.
Does it smell like that?
Yeah, it does.
Dirty mouth?
Clean it up.
Clean it up.
You lit liquor.
Okay. Here.
There you go.
Go.
Get fucked.
Pause the slander for PJ's
Sorry,
reaction.
we have slander pauses for me to refill
For
dram.
whiskey?
Do I have to sip this one?
Yes. Oh my God. Stop
No, you have to
taking
take
Wait,
a
can I,
shots.
shot.
can I smell
Stop
it?
taking
Wait, I want to
shots.
smell it first.
And I think it's like
Enjoy it.
Wow,
61%.
it does smell like.
Oh my God, this is
fucking-
64.8%. It's 65%. Like it's very high ABV.
Sorry.
Just do a little
I'm
sip.
not- that
I'm
smells like.
trying to culture myself.
Doesn't it smell like bubble
It does.
mint?
It smells like
I'm
bubble.
gonna tell you
mint.
what it smells like after he's tasted, because
Vomit and cat piss.
This one is
It's on the
actually
list.
really incredible. This one's just an experience.
No. Don't just let it roll down your throat.
roll
This
over
isn't
the
your
top.
normal Saturday night.
You gotta swim. Oh. It's a lot of
Does it taste better than it smells?
dick.
All right, we're back to the slander.
That was a lot of eye contact on that too. That made me uncomfortable.
That's saying
This is
something.
a safe
Yeah,
space.
that
Too
doesn't-
much eye
that's not
contact,
bubble mint
Kayla.
gum. That is like blue cheese and bubble mint gum.
Oh, well, probably because you're eating the white cheese popcorn.
No, I'm not.
No.
You're mixing a lot of flavors in there.
I am. I'm not getting waffle crisp from that one.
It's like
Was
real
you good?
weird.
That one made me gag a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
So
Good,
what,
I
what
like
is-
it.
I'm gonna go
What
back
is
to
this
the
one?
Okay, so the one you have is actually really delightful.
you.
So Cadenhead is a
Head.
Cadenhead.
Oh, sorry.
Cat and head.
Is a independent bottler. So this is the Cadenhead's Creation series. It's a 20-year-old blend of random shit they had in their warehouse. The way that I'd like to think this happened was that they
Waste.
they do a lot of bottlings, right? They're independent bottlers. They have a bunch of casks.
So they bottle for other like whiskey.
They buy other distilleries and they bottle it under their name. So we
Okay.
have
Did I say Argyle?
Yes,
like
this
we
Taylor
have
Swift's
other
new book.
Cadenheads that are like Glenn Talkers and Glenn Levitt. So they got these two casks and they put them together. Anyway, I'd like to think what probably happened here is, I don't know, they made 375 bottles out of one cask and
That's delicious.
then there was a little bit left over and they did
just
the
kept
same
mixing
thing and
it,
they were like,
mixing it.
wow, you know what would be great? If we just mix those together and not waste any of the ends of our barrels. And so they did this creation series. And so everything that's in here is at least 20 years old. But it's
Wild.
really good. I mean, everything
This is
that
very good.
that Cadenheads has put out is like, they're
Where-
great independent
Where are they
bottler.
located out of?
Cadenhead?
Scotland.
Scotland. Okay.
Unlike
Scotland.
the Jeep dealership.
Unlike the Jeep
Back to the
dealership.
Slander.
Which is
Back to
in-
the Slander.
Is there only one in that area?
Yeah, there's only one.
So we can't specify. It's in Loudoun County.
It's Loudoun County. It's a 50-50 shot at that point. You figure it out.
They're both shitty dealerships in Loudoun County.
Ooh, wait, we can play a game with this. Because this podcast is, what, 2.5 weeks out from now?
Dude, I don't know.
Pre-release to this episode, we should post in the forum. Shout out Dirt Nerds Off-Road Forum on Facebook. Go ahead and join it. It's a private group. We're going to put a poll out the week before this podcast
Oh,
with
are
the
we now?
two dealership choices of Loudoun County.
Where would
And
you
I
rather
wanna
go?
I want to see
they
what-
think this
who
is
they
about?
who they think this dealership involves.
Because-
we're never going to tell you the correct answer, but I'm curious to know what the public thinks.
Because
You can still hear that. Don't worry.
both the dealerships in Loudoun are historically not great.
Correct. Which is why I'm very curious to see what the public thinks. Anyway.
What's the only other one that actually gets good recommendations is the one in Winchester, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one that warranted Matt's Jeep with mud on it.
Directly from the Cove.
Yeah, he towed it. He towed it from the Cove
Didn't
to the
wash it.
dealership. Didn't wash it, and
And they put
just
a brand new transmission in
Yeah.
under warranty. Granted, his was a manual though. If I
No,
remember.
it was automatic.
Was it?
No, don't give him that much credit.
Yeah.
I mean, that tech was definitely
It was
cussing up a storm the whole time, but
brand new at the time. Though.
It was like 17,000 miles on it. Yeah.
That was also
a
a
your tax.
that was also a
I knew it
17 or
was
18.
It was a long time. Anyway,
Okay.
All right, yeah, so back to the Slander.
So,
Right,
so,
so
we're
we-
on the first transmission.
First transmission. So we wait a month and a half ish. I have to rent a couple of vehicles during this time, right? I have to commute to work. I do thankfully have the Metro, but it's not always convenient for. I have a very public facing job and have events to go to and all
You
of
should
these
just hit
things.
me
So
up. I have like 4 extra cars.
you have 4 extra Jeeps
Got
that
it.
don't run.
I've got one Jeep that doesn't run. I've got one Jeep that does run, and I've got a 2009 Hyundai Sonata with
You have
200
4 extra vehicles,
with 250
all of which
horsepower.
Run worse than your Jeep did at
300,000
this
miles.
point.
hey, he also has a trailer though. No
I
truck.
do-
Oh.
no truck.
Okay.
It's good.
But Joe Diffie
Are we
said
slandering the
that
dealership
people
or
like,
Tim?
women like pickup men, not trailer men.
I thought she thought his tractor was sexy.
Oh my God, you could be the queen of my double wide trailer.
Same.
I
Do you
don't
have a
ever
double
want to
wide
hear
trailer?
anything about my ADD ever again.
Sorry, we've gone off the rails.
So bad.
the podcast?
And to think,
our
we thought that
podcast
first
bad?
episode here was us.
Our podcast is bad.
Sorry, we'll get on. No, we won't.
Okay,
Transmission shows up.
right. Okay, so then
this one's not editable.
I get a very excited text.
Whiskey and distractions. I mean, Slander.
Distractions.
I'm trying to stay on task.
You're fine.
No, you're not.
Okay,
Back to the Slander.
for the 10th time. I wait a month and a half. Transmission shows up. I'm hyped. Right? I think I text Trevor and I was like, transmission's in. They said I can pick it up on Saturday.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah. It's still nice weather. I mean, I think we're probably into
October.
It's definitely
mid to late October,
mid to late October because I was
but it was nice.
yeah, it was nice. And so I pick it up from the dealership, my soft top's on. I ripped that soft top off in the parking lot. I was like, let's go, baby. I haven't had this for a month and a half. We're cruising. I actually had a computer monitor returned to Micro Center monitor. So I was like, wow, I'll do a little errand. Yeah. So left the dealership in the undisclosed Northern Virginia location, which is about 15 minutes from my home.
Which is also undisclosed.
Which is also undisclosed. I drove home, picked up the monitor, and then headed off to Micro Center, which is in Fairfax, right? Okay, I'm going through, I guess.
We just narrowed it down to one dealership.
There's a couple of Fairfax.
There's only one.
No. There's only one Micro Center. There's only one Micro Center in Virginia, and that's in Fairfax.
Okay.
Correct. It's where.
I don't think our audience knows what Micro Center is, so continue.
Great.
Wait. Let me guess. Is it the one in Pan Am Shopping Center?
I don't know.
It's the only one.
It's the only Micro Center.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're distracting me. I'm teling a story.
Yeah, our ADD.
Jeez.
This is the one in the
question.
Stop
Okay.
interrupting the guest.
Wow,
Okay.
good job, Tim.
So I'm I don't know, somewhere around Vienna-ish area, suburbs of Vienna. And I'm in like the residential area, and so there's a lot of speed bumps, right? So I go over one and I feel the Jeep shudder, like shake. And I was like, you know, whatever. Maybe I just hit that speed bump wrong. Maybe just hit that speed bump wrong. I don't know.
Death wobble in the transmission.
And so then I go over
It was dead.
the second speed bump, and it gets a little harsher. And I was like, that's interesting.
Would you call it a hell of a shimmy?
It was a hell of a shimmy.
We're making t-shirts.
It's from last episode. We just recorded like an hour ago.
Amazing. Okay,
callback. It's called a
I'm
callback.
approaching the stoplight, and the whole Jeep is rattling. Makes a high-pitched squeal noise. I smell something burning, and we stop moving.
Again, for the
Done.
second time.
Just stop
Well,
moving.
again, so it stopped moving this time. It didn't start moving the first time.
Right.
Correct.
Different problem.
Different problem.
Oh, no,
But-
but see, this is
Same
text-
car, different day.
This is textbook. Your transmission pump just burnt itself to the
Yeah.
ground for whatever reason. Incorrect torque converter install. No fluid.
no fluid.
All of the above.
No fluid.
100%.
So there were signs though. So that's the difference, right? When we drove to the airport and it had it didn't move after we had put it
Yeah.
in park. There were no problems with the transmission. I went over a couple of speed bumps. I drove a little bit further in the residential area, and everything is shaking. Basically, now hindsight, obviously the transmission was thermal locking itself.
Yeah.
So I have to physically push my Jeep over. Thankfully, I'm a strong lady. So to the side, I do powerlifting.
Yeah, different. Very different.
Very different.
Powerlifters has pride. CrossFitters don't have pride.
You know, I won't do any kind of fitness slander
I think
because
I just shout on the whole
I do
community.
truly believe that people should move
No, yeah,
and be
I
active and
agree.
enjoy the things they like, but powerlifting's better. Anyway,
Yeah, I feel like a bitch because
CrossFit is a
I
cult.
go to Planet Fitness.
You do
5 days a
yoga.
week. No, I do yoga and Planet Fitness.
You
but
don't
it's-
power lift.
This is
I
definitely
don't.
fitting into the slander portion of this episode.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I'm
Slander and Tim.
okay, we're pivoting. We're
Slandered
pivoting back
myself.
to the story.
Yeah.
okay. You're good at this. You should have a podcast about whiskey.
Shut up, Tim.
Anyway. Okay, so at this point, I'm real pissed off, right? Because I left the dealership approximately 20 minutes ago. And with a brand new transmission, with a brand new 100,000-mile warranty on it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'll be
Suspicious.
important. Take notes, kids.
Also, it was 4:45 p.m. when I picked up the Jeep. So by the time, and this is Saturday, so by the time it has stalled me out basically almost in the middle of an intersection,
Completely shit the bed.
I can't even call the dealership. Right? I'm pissed. I make the claim for Geico to come tow us back to the undisclosed dealership. Giuseppe comes and tows me out of the intersection. We park it in front of someone's house. We just leave it. I threw the keys in. I just walked away. I was
Please
like,
steal it. I
please,
dare you. If you
so
can
much.
drive it out of here, it's yours.
Please
One of
take
those,
it.
throw the lighter into the fuel and just
Oh, yeah.
away
Yeah.
with it.
I didn't wait for the tow truck.
Cool
Nothing.
guys don't
I was
look at
just like,
exclusions.
see you guys later. I hope it makes it there. All right, so I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday before I get a call from them, and they're like, "Yeah, your Jeep's back." I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't work."
It does the same thing it didn't do when I dropped it off.
It's
Okay,
worse.
so here's the great part. I have the receipts here. Okay, this is my favorite. How they categorized my statement when I called to tell them what was wrong.
So this is the new transmission blown up. This is their
Yes.
notes of your
Of my statement.
customer states.
A client, not even the client.
Oh, that's trying to be bougie, but customer
A
states.
client states, picked up vehicle Saturday, drove over a speed bump, stopped. I didn't stop, but whatever. And engine started running rough. No, the engine did not start running rough. The engine was running completely fine. Went to accelerate and heard grinding noise and vehicle would not accelerate forward. Please advise.
You should have just said, hell of a shimmy.
It's got a hell of a shimmy. And just chuck them the keys.
So then I get a call, and
We have to make t-shirts.
Our continuity is great.
I get a call a couple of days later, and they're like, yeah, you need a new transmission. And I said, why?
Did you go, you just did that?
You're like, no shit.
I said, why? And so I guess we should also categorize a couple of the different customer service folks I worked with. The service, what are they? Advisors. Service
yes,
advisors.
yeah.
The first service advisor,
Morons?
fuck that guy. He's a dick.
They
I mean,
ain't
they're a
advising
dick.
shit.
I don't know, I'm trying to be inclusive here. Whatever.
No,
Okay.
this is the Dirt Drive
They
podcast.
is a dick.
They them.
Our listeners don't know who we're voting for.
Right.
Yeah, no, having also dealt with him at some point along this story.
He always treated me awfully. And it was like the very
Hated his job.
stereotype, like, woman calls dealership, man is an asshole to her.
Yeah.
And like it pisses me.
It wasn't. It
Like, she
makes you
doesn't
feel
know what
like
she's
it
talking
wasn't
about.
just you.
Good.
Because the
He also
Spoiler
treated
alert.
Tom like a woman.
yeah,
Aw.
the spoiler alert when I dropped your Jeep off.
Oh wait, but you didn't drop it off until the third transmission.
Right, that's why I said spoiler alert. When I go and drop your Jeep off, he also treated me like shit, and I was like, "Ooh, buddy, you're not gonna like how this ends."
We're gonna record a podcast.
also, spoiler alert. So yeah.
Fuck. What a nightmare.
So this is
know how to fill up a tank, like a gas tank.
yeah.
Well, we know he did.
So you think it's a
We know he
nightmare
did.
now? This is nothing.
This is the second transmission.
We're
still on the first
this is-
transmission.
no, technically the second.
Well, we're
Technically,
going into the second
well,
transmission.
honestly, my
No, no, no.
my
We
personal
left the
theory.
second transmission.
No, no,
we're going into the third.
no. My personal theory is the first and second transmission were the same transmission.
Yeah, but they drained.
I think they drained it as a diag. And then somebody looked at it and went, "Hey, dumbass, the cable's off the shifter." They put the cable
like
on
a
the
veteran
shifter.
tech probably came over and
Never
went-
test drove it. Forgot that it was empty and sent it home.
Yep.
That would make 100%
Yep.
sense.
Like a veteran tech came over to a newbie and went, "Hey, look, idiot."
Or whoever diagged
Yeah.
it never
Rent
crawled
some.
under it. They
Well,
got in it and went,
To be
"Yeah,
fair,
They shifted it one time.
transmission's toast," and
to
then
be
it went to
fair.
the trans guy.
to be fair, dealership life, they wouldn't give somebody with a transmission issue to some new guy.
I agree.
But if it was a
Look,
new
the
guy
way
to
dealerships
the
are going these
dealership-
days with their turnover, everyone's a new guy.
Well,
That's what I say.
Oh, I can't wait to tell you about my problem with the dealership's employee satisfaction and their retention.
Ooh, so,
so
That's what I'm saying.
I-
It may
I-
have been somebody new to that dealership
I
that was like,
completely agree with you. I think the trans guy did a half-ass diag.
Yep.
Said,
Here.
"I think it's this."
try this.
It ended up in a sea-level text bay. In which case, somebody at some point drained the transmission and never refilled it.
That's so good.
What is that?
So this is a.
Oh, I need to finish.
I just poured
You
that.
just
for
poured
you.
that? That makes me
yeah,
feel
so
better.
this is a 19-year-old Macduff.
are you sharing my McDuff?
I am.
Thank you, Giuseppe.
It's very good.
So I just finished your Cadenhead.
Oh, it smells
Yes.
fantastic.
So fucking
So
good.
good, right?
So fucking good.
It's just a blend of different barrels, so no way to know what it actually
It's
is.
delicious though.
That's
That's my favorite one so far.
Here.
That what the
This?
the McDuff.
The Macduff is very
That
good.
is
Say it right.
Macduff.
McDuff.
McDuff does not disappoint.
Anytime you see
from
him,
Banff.
yeah,
Whoa!
Banff,
Oh.
but not that Banff.
Banff.
Anytime,
What is there
Not,
another?
not Canadian.
Where's the other Banff?
Canada.
Yeah, I knew the Canadian Banff.
Scotland.
Oh, I didn't know there was
We're
a Scottish
drinking
Banff.
Scotch, Tim. It's all from
I
Scotland.
thought we were drinking whiskey, not Scotch.
You
Square,
had
square and
some
rectangle.
whiskey. You had
Square and
Irish
rectangle.
whiskey earlier, but now you're
Scotch
having
is
Scotch.
whiskey, but
It
whiskey
is.
is not always Scotch.
Yes, Correct.
All pee-pee times are not poo-poo times, but all poo-poo times are pee-pee times.
Unless you're my child, in which case then he has been pooping and peeing every time.
Or Tom, when you're on the trail and you poo-poo, you need a poo-poo so bad that you can't pee-pee.
That did actually happen to me. That's a true story from Moa that we did not discuss in the
Tell the story quick.
We have photo evidence.
It was a longer trail.
That was on Golden Spike, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the longest trail day. It was literally 9 hours on the trail, and I had like 6 cups of coffee that morning.
Oh no.
And like halfway through the trail, I was like, "It's all right, fire department, I can hold it." But the problem is, if you've traveled enough, so Utah elevation, no humidity, dry. You chug a bunch of water, but you also like we're in the sun, we're sweating, so I'm chugging water and I don't have to pee. By 4 o'clock that afternoon, I then had to pee, and I went to pee in the woods, and I tried to push the pee out, and I almost shit myself. So I had to stop my pee, and then I had to hold my pee and my shit until we got back to the house. It was entertaining, but also not entertaining.
It was so funny
and I
for
will
me.
tell you, that was the best dump I've ever taken. When we got back to the Airbnb, it was amazing. Anyway,
Sea level life.
yeah,
going to
Yeah.
altitude is-
yeah. Well, it's the dryness for me.
So how do we get here? Poo-poo times. Oh, Scotch whiskey.
Scottish whiskey.
Back to the transmission.
Whiskey. Scotch is whiskey, but not all whiskey is Scotch.
Okay. But if that whiskey is made in Scotland with a single malt, then it's whiskey.
With
Then it's
barley.
Scotch with barley.
So now that I've shared my theory of what happened to the first and/or second transmission,
Back
And your
to the
poo-poo time,
transmissions.
pee-pee time.
and my poo-poo time, pee-pee time, story time.
My favorite was the Monday text message that we walked into of Kayla saying, "Well,
Guess what?
Into the mic, Trevor.
Jeep's back at the dealership." Walked into that Monday morning, so that was super fun.
Uh,
And I just went,
Yep.
"What the fuck?"
Yep. And this is where the story really starts. This is where it really starts.
This is where Grey Poupon enters the story.
I hope you know. I hope you know we're recording this for training purposes.
This will live on the internet
What do
forever.
we? So Grey Poupon and Glue Stick.
Oh, yes! Yes!
I don't know the reference, but that seems funny to me.
I'll tell you off
when
air.
it's not on air.
Actually, the name's probably on one of your tickets. But anyway, continue the
first
story.
one.
Continue the story. Well,
His last name is Fudd.
Where's that? Service advisor. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
don't
yeah,
say it out loud, but think
yeah,
of a
his
company
last
that
name
makes
is
glue.
Fudd. No. Just think about
Oh,
it. There it is.
I get that. Glue. That's okay. Satire.
There it is.
Good satire, my friends.
Okay.
He definitely made
So-
glue sticks as a child too.
So we've just thermalocked the second
Grenaded.
transmission for my
Grenaded
vehicle,
is the
but
industry term. Grenaded.
grenaded.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It don't go no more.
So look, I don't need every detail of what you've done and how you've diagnosed things, but I need a little more explanation than you need a new transmission. And I asked why, and I was told from Glue Stick. Is that where we're going?
Yeah.
with?
Yeah.
I was told from Glue Stick
That's such a good nickname.
because you just do.
Excuse me?
And I was like, I mean, is there like a code? Or
This is so comical.
he was like,
It's the best.
well, it's a catastrophic failure.
That's the
And
smartest
I
thing
was
he
like,
said.
They
Ah.
said the torque converter went.
And then
Yeah.
he
I mean,
said,
'cause it
it's the
wasn't
torque
filled.
converter.
Where did it go?
Yeah. But we only got the torque converter response after me just pestering. Like, you have to give me some reason
Yeah.
why you just put a brand new transmission in it and it failed 20 minutes off of the lot.
Yeah.
So magically, I'd waited a month and a half for the first one. Magically,
They had another one.
they had another one.
Aliens.
Well, so it seems like from the story, you waited a month and a half for the first one to get delivered. They put it on the lift, drained the oil, fixed the clip, said "fuck it," put you back on the road.
That's our theory. That's our
That's-
working
that's a
theory.
working
That's
theory.
not confirmed.
But your
It's
the transmission that was already on site
I mean, at this-
was your first transmission.
That's what we think.
That's the working theory.
And
Wild.
by working theory, I mean it's all but confirmed because every other time we've been 100% correct.
Yeah.
In this entire process, like, yeah.
Okay.
Not to turn this into an ad.
But I'm just saying, magically,
We're just
You did.
But we did, yeah.
magically, they were able to install another transmission within less
10
than a
days.
week.
Yeah,
it was less than a week.
It was like 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's play this out timeline.
Yeah.
Saturdays when the transmission failed, they called me by Monday or Tuesday. Right. Actually, it's on the service receipt probably whenever it.
You're a
got
dangerous
brought in.
woman that you still have receipts from this.
I carry the fucking receipts.
Fire
Fucking receipts.
This is a whiskey talking.
Back to the whiskey. Pausing the slander.
I don't know. It's
Whiskey
I think,
and stutter.
It's not going to tell you.
Anyway.
But it was
I
like 4
digress.
days. It was like 4
Yeah.
days.
So by the next week, I had transmission number
3.
3.
That was all hands on deck.
Asterisk 3.
Asterisk.
2/3.
Yeah. Pride Month, baby.
2A.
Okay. So, I mean, I just thought it was real suspicious that the timeline. It took me a month and a half. I know there was a strike, but at the same time,
The
there's
strike
got to
was
be.
still going on for the second
the
one.
strike-
It was.
the strike was like-
still going on.
It was like 8 months, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
the strike was still going on, and
PJ.
even if they had access, they had gotten the first transmission. How did you so quickly get a second one?
Oh, that's you. Dang it.
I can answer that.
Okay.
What the heck did it do with these
Producers suck.
I'm
fucking...
3.
They're so good at their job that they anticipated this would happen and ordered 2.
Yikes.
Help.
Yikes.
Help. Thank you.
How many fucks had Giuseppe dropped at this point?
Actually, none.
Honestly, some of the screenshots were the best part of this for us.
It didn't take until number 4.
Number
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, fair,
Okay,
fair.
so I basically did all the interfacing up until this last transmission install where I just hit my limit and I was like, I can't engage anymore. And
Your give-a-fucks are gone.
well, my fucks were gone, but they also
She also was
anytime-
trying to,
my
as the
field.
kids say, not
They
catch a
started
charge.
playing the female.
Did you come in like fully swole up from like a powerlifting session
actually
and just
did.
scare the shit out of them?
Didn't you tell one of the guys I'll break you in half or something along those lines?
She did. And you had a pink streak in your hair at the time,
Oh, yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah, no, I had all my hair.
That's right. No, Tim, you don't understand. She straight walked in a powerlifting outfit.
Yeah.
I'd like
And everyone
That's
just went,
frightening.
You were proud of yourself.
Everyone left.
fuck.
Everyone left.
Like,
Everyone
God damn
left.
it.
I
Even
want.
the customers.
There's a strong woman here. We need to be gone.
Okay, but we have jumped ahead. Anyway, okay.
We'll get back there
Break
later.
you, little man.
So
Come
magically,
here, bud.
but that doesn't start until transmission number 4. Okay, so magically,
We'll
This
get
is
there.
one of
We'll
those
get
stories
there.
where we jump to the end and bring it back to the middle.
yeah.
It's like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah, it's Kill Bill.
It's a Dirt Drive podcast.
Kill JK.
Kill
JK.
It came back from the dead, and it's pissed.
But anyway.
Okay, so let's see. Second transmission. Okay, magically they do it in a week. They're like, "Hey, come pick up your Jeep." I was like, "Sweet, great. Hope it works this time." So this actually extends the timeline a bit because I didn't realize there was an issue for quite a while. Except we all should have known, but it just presented itself a little differently. So I picked up the Jeep. It's maybe, I don't know, a couple days later.
Yeah.
I work near the Capitol in DC. I left DC. I stopped by Tyson's too because I had some event coming up. I was trying to find something I needed, right? I come out of Bloomingdale's.
Were you driving the Jeep like this the whole time?
No one can see you on the podcast.
That's fine.
We're not trying to video this one, PJ.
Okay, so
Just describe his face.
it doesn't. I don't know. He
Terrified.
scrunched it up.
That's actually his O face.
Constipated and
Wow,
terrified.
it looked a little constipated to me, but
Constipated and terrified.
anyway,
Everyone
so
knows.
Jeep won't start. I come out of the mall. Jeep won't start. I'm pissed at this point. I called Giuseppe. I was like, I guess come give me a jump. The battery's dead. Like, it didn't turn over or anything. So I was like, I think the battery's dead. I call Tom and Trevor, and I was like, I'm leaving this piece of shit at Dirt Nerds.
Yeah, you were done with the dealership at this point.
Yeah, I was done. I was like, I've had this back for a couple of days. Why won't my vehicle turn on? So I do drive immediately over to Dirt Nerds once Giuseppe shows up at the mall, jumps my battery. I drive over there, and then Tom tests the battery.
So the jump worked. The jump got
The
you
jump
back in
did work.
I think by the time I got there,
Knowing what we know now,
knowing
yeah.
what we know now, it probably had reset itself.
Yeah, knowing what we know now.
It'll make sense. It'll make sense in a few minutes.
Future past.
Yeah,
Past.
knowing
So,
what we
yeah.
know now.
So I throw the
think,
battery tester on it.
Yeah.
It says it's good, but it's sitting at like 72% capacity. I'm like, I know below 70 is where it considers it a bad battery. So I'm like, you're probably right on the edge. Go get a new battery. It's an easy thing to do.
But Tom tells me to call the dealership and they should replace the battery because the battery, they had replaced it
Bingo.
less than a year ago.
It was a Mopar battery.
It's Mopar battery.
So I was like, it should be under warranty also. And you were like, fuck that shit.
Well, I called.
Oh, that's
and,
right, that's right.
I don't know. We have to come up with another pseudonym for the service advisor that we all kind of mid-like. The one that we mildly like.
What's your most medium favorite whiskey?
Our Lord and Savior.
What's your most medium favorite whiskey?
What's Will Ferrell's character from Good Guys?
No. Medium whiskey. Ooh.
He's
I tell you what.
He's our.
We're gonna go
our
the
knight
Milton
for
Duff.
chivalry.
yeah.
No. Milton Duff's amazing. Actually, why don't we call him Blanton's? Because Blanton's is so fucking mid, but Bourbon Bros love it. So anyway,
There's a slander for you.
there's the slander.
Can confirm.
I'm just saying, shots fired at AK because he loves some Blantons.
Well, I've got some UK only Blanton's Gold back there, and you guys
That-
are
Oh, perfect. He's Indian.
I was saying, he's gonna love that.
you guys are
Anyway,
welcome
loves
to
it.
have
all
it.
right. So yeah. So Blanton's calls.
Okay, so
Blanton's
I
calls.
call Blanton's,
Oh, that's right.
and I was like, "Hey,
Confuse some people.
my
point.
battery is dead. It needs to be replaced. You guys replaced it a year ago while you were doing the wiring harness. This is going to come into the story later. While you were doing the driver's taillight wiring harness a year ago, you also replaced the battery. So it should be under warranty." And Blanton's was like, "Well, yes, but you would have to come in. You need to do diagnostic testing. We have to confirm that the battery's bad before we'll replace it." I was like, "Fuck you guys. I'm going to Advanced Auto." So I just went and paid out of pocket for a battery. And
Even though we had the printout from our battery tester that said battery bad.
anyway,
Bad.
we put a battery in it and things seem normal. So let me put this in the context of, I don't drive that often. I go from point A to point B. I go from my house to work.
It's 8 hours.
It sits for a long amount of time. I come back home.
Before we start slandering again,
Ball.
Yeah, basically.
can I have another whiskey?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a caliper.
Do you like smoky stuff? Yeah.
See?
You have the-
Sure.
AD,
You know
back
what
to
I like
whiskey.
better than I do.
Back to whiskey.
Wait, but you like peated stuff. You bought the
Yeah.
Did you just say
Yeah.
you like penis stuff?
Penis stuff.
Penis
It's private.
stuff.
Peated. We solved your transmission problem. We're definitely getting invited back.
We also brought whiskey this time, so
You
we're
brought
getting
whiskey
invited
last time.
back.
You brought me the rye.
We did.
You brought me rye.
forgot.
And you brought me
We
the
brought a
green
bottle.
hat gin.
Yeah.
We did.
Did we really bring whiskey last
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
I am
just
like
got fucked
a-
up.
Yeah.
I felt like an
You
asshole.
didn't bring whiskey. We brought whiskey.
I brought green hat because
Okay.
I wanted to make the last word, which is delicious.
Yeah.
See, I legitimately felt like an asshole for a year and a half because I didn't
Oh
bring
my
whiskey.
god, no.
That's why I brought this
don't
very
worry, that's
mid rum.
his state of being on a
just-
daily basis.
Just feeling like an asshole, not
Yeah.
actually being an asshole.
No, both.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Back
give
to the slander.
I
you.
wear pit vipers.
I'm gonna give you my gateway drug
Oh.
to peated whiskey. So I've always been a whiskey.
Gateway, Colorado.
No,
Well,
coming from Scotland.
That would have been so
it's
good.
all from Scotland. We've went over this.
Except
okay.
for the stuff from Taiwan.
So yeah, well,
But that's
we
not
have
Scotch.
Japan, Taiwan, Tasmania,
America.
Ireland. Anyway,
Botswana.
Botswana. No Botswana yet. Okay.
Looks like you're
so-
making a trip.
Look, I've always been a whiskey drinker. I went off to college. Everybody else is doing keg stands with Amstel Light, and I was smashing early times. Okay.
stands on an actual cask.
I was doing keg stands with Steel Reserve. What college did you go to with Amstel Light?
It was the cheapest in the town.
Amstel, yeah.
Greenville, North Carolina.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
Fair point.
North
fair point.
Carolina.
Can confirm. Can confirm. I have family down there. Just leave it. You're not gonna understand.
Okay.
Wow.
Every place has its own
I remember
cheap
getting
beer.
MGD on sale in a keg and was thrilled.
Amstel Light was cheap. It was, and then when we could spring for a little more, people got Miller Lite or Bud Light.
PJ, you're squeaking.
Anyway,
I'm squeaking.
Yeah, your leg.
Like bad.
Oops.
whoops.
Whoops.
The ADD. We're back to the ADD.
Okay, but anyway,
We'll get to slander soon.
we're going back to slander. But so for years,
That looks very
I don't
watered
know,
down.
my whiskey journey just evolved, right? And this was the first peated whiskey that I tried at the Whiskey House in San Diego, which is where that picture came from.
So,
over
so
there on
for the
wall.
peasants, peated is just a fancy word for smoky. Smoky.
Yeah, it's smoky. Anyway,
Smoky.
it tastes like smoky apple juice.
Okay.
Oh.
So,
Apple juice
It
makes me
looks like
shit
apple
my
juice.
pants.
great. So this is the Ben Rioch. This is before they rebranded and
Someone who's very hydrated.
before they were bought out by, I don't know who owns them now, but Benrioc sucks now. Sorry about that if any reps are listening. But
They're not. Back to the Slander.
Giuseppe's shaking his head.
But
We're not opposed to naming that whiskey group.
But pre-acquisition, Benrioc is incredible.
So
anyway,
is that the nickname for our dealership?
sure, we'll call him Benrioc.
It started out great, and then just went downhill.
Call them Stellantis. Pre-acquisition. Then they were acquired. Stellantis acquired.
That's a stretch.
Mopar.
Okay. Anyway, so this bottle,
Benrioc
the
is just
Bernie
too hard to
Moss,
say.
was only marketed to Spain. And so I happened to have it because I was at a great whiskey bar, and I was like, shit, how do I get this? And they're like, good luck, chump. Well, now that I'm a collector, I got it, baby. And I got several bottles in here, so we're not running
It
out.
only took 7 years to track it down.
You
So
should,
is
you
there-
should call
is
that. You
there-
should call that whiskey bar and be like, "Suck it, bitches."
Yeah.
Is there a registry
There's
of like
one down here.
whiskey collectors? Like, are you like a registered whiskey collector?
No.
Okay.
That one's washed.
So there's people that are like more into this than you are.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do this one.
Okay, I hope you
They won't invite us over for podcasts though.
No.
Okay,
They don't have.
okay,
They
we
don't
have
make
to go
porn
back
like
to
choices
Slander
with
now.
Jeeps.
People that store their whiskey.
Wait, I'm out of boot.
Yeah.
That's yours.
That's mine.
All right.
Now they also may or
mine.
may not live locally.
Do you
but
want some of this too?
Yeah,
Yes,
let's-
please.
Let's try that.
You guys
I've
all
tried.
want to try my
Yeah, I'll try
gateway
that.
drug?
Yeah.
This is what made
First
me...
of all, if you say it's a gateway drug and you don't introduce it to your friends, you're
Yes.
a
It's
bad
not, it's not
friend.
really a good
They're a
gateway
bunch
drug
of
either.
This is what
potheads.
made me love Peter.
She's not a friend. She's a client.
Yeah, she's a client.
We were invited, but
AK is the client.
a
She
client
is a
states.
You know,
client.
we have not done the proverbial cheers. I feel like this is a
Oh,
good
we
time
have.
for that.
Wait.
Oh,
You're welcome.
that had to sound good in the ear.
That had so much DC behind
oh,
it.
you're not wearing headphones anymore.
No, I've been wearing headphones.
ready.
Ooh, that is smoky.
I guess we're done.
But not that smoky.
Wow.
All right,
So,
back-
in the
can we get back to the
continue.
slander because we're
Yeah.
getting to the good part.
Oh my god.
We should
Okay.
try and stay on
We're
topic.
getting
Yeah.
to Giuseppe being real pissed off.
Oh, that's deeply smoky.
It starts to get petty at this point.
It's actually, I do own the most peated bottle of scotch in the world, and it's open. And it blows.
That's more peaty than that.
Oh my god.
I feel like I just drank a campfire.
Yeah,
No.
that's
But
it
like
will-
a good campfire.
So-
gotta be the
oh, it has to be the nightcap. Okay, so this is probably around 70 ppm.
Does this not taste like a campfire, PJ?
Okay, this is probably 60 to 70 ppms on the peat scale.
Parts
I
per
have-
million.
Yeah,
Piece per million.
peats per million. No, parts per million. But the most
really
peated
should
bottle
call
of whiskey in the world, of scotch in the world, is 309 ppms.
Holy balls!
So it's like
You
it's
know,
like drinking a house
she
fire.
said
High,
pee-pee.
I thought you were gonna say in the thousands.
somebody
I
took
really did.
I mean, that's
It's
60.
six times.
No. Like I said,
Don't say that.
Really high. Just the way she led into that.
That
I
just
thought
makes
it was
me
gonna
think
be
of the
like
charcoal
3,000.
canisters.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask one
Okay.
whiskey question,
And
then
then
we
we're
get
going back to
transmissions.
slander.
Is Scotch specifically? I don't want to say graded on, but like, is it judged by its like peatedness,
No, 'cause you have some
or
that you like.
that's just a way to describe the flavor? Like,
Yeah, well,
like,
not all-
like your 300 ppm.
So there is
Not all of them are
whiskey.
peated.
and unpeated. So
There's peated and
Jesus
unpeated.
Christ.
All the scotch that you've
I
had
can't keep
until
track
that
of all
dram
this.
I just
It's like
poured.
Pokemon.
Okay.
No, it's more like wood barrel Chardonnay and
No, it's
Yeah,
peat
no.
metal
moss.
cask Chardonnay.
Okay.
And then
Look,
there's
so
single
all-
malt peated and
Giuseppe, too much.
blended peated.
Too much.
But yeah, the
Look,
smoke's coming.
all of
the
the-
smokiness is coming out my
He's
ears.
just coming out of his ears.
Here's the easy way to describe it.
My brain
All
is
of
peated.
the scotch that I've given you up until this moment has been unpeated. That
Okay.
means it was not smoked with peat moss. So they harvest the peat moss out of the peat box.
Right.
They literally smoke the barley with it.
Right.
They like
No, I get that part
Yeah.
of it. I've watched the
Yep.
the
I
documentary
haven't.
on
I
it.
haven't.
so
It's fantastic, actually.
that is
I think it's on Prime.
that is peated scotch,
Right.
and that has its own scale of peatiness. But then unpeated scotch never goes through that peated smoke process.
So the peatedness has nothing to do with the value or
No.
You need to put your headphones back on.
Jesus.
Just do it. You're gonna make the producer mad.
Oh my god, we have to go back to transmissions.
All right, back to
Transmissions.
slander.
Back to slander. Where were we? Okay, so we've replaced the battery.
Yes.
We replaced the
I
battery.
would say this is where we kind of enter the equation.
We think things are.
Enter Dirt Nerds.
We think things are okay. I've replaced the battery. Again, like I was saying, I drive from point A to point B. Car sits for more than 15 minutes. That's what's really important here. The car sits for more than 15 minutes. It fires back up. I think everything's fine. Until, I don't know what day it was, I decide I need to do...
That was me.
Oh, it was, sorry, well... It was Giuseppe. Whatever. Had to run some errands. Would you like to make a guest appearance over here?
No.
To tell your side of the story? Great.
Just went to the grocery store.
Yeah. So Giuseppe takes a Jeep to run some errands.
That's what I get for driving a Jeep.
Shut it.
Damn.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah, well. Anyway, so
so
he goes
peated
to
right
run
now.
some errands. And so errands mean point A to B and then immediately leaving B, going to C, going to D, all of those things. Okay.
Going to the D.
Going to the D.
You're very good at
The
errands.
Dirt Nerds.
Very good at what?
You're very good at errands and how they
Very
work.
good at errands.
happened?
Okay. So,
Yeah, I'm like A to B, back to A, then to C,
Right.
then to
Oh,
A,
you're
then
A.
back
So-
to B because I
You're
forgot
A to
something.
D to D.
anyway, ADD.
is exactly what these guys are.
Okay.
Talking shit, but you don't have a microphone, do you?
Okay, so Giuseppe goes off, runs some errands. He calls me, I guess. This has been so long ago now, but we find out the vehicle won't crank. And so we're like, what the hell is going on? But after some time, it does crank back up.
So like 15 minutes time.
After 15, 20 minutes, she cranks back up. So he comes back home. I think that's the point that I call Tom and Trevor, and I'm like, hey, I don't know what the hell's going on. Car, I drive it for a little bit of time. I turn it off. It won't crank. But all the dash lights come on. There's no click for like the starter trying to, start turnover. No
Yeah.
engine turnover, nothing. Just full dashboard lights and nothing.
Dead key.
Dead key. And so Tom was like,
So you can say it was
"Yeah,
a
I guess
dashboard confessional.
Dashboard confessional.
Stop
Tom
it.
was like, I guess bring it on over.
Stop it.
Let's figure out what's going on.
That was
So
a good poll.
this is where the story picks up with you guys taking on the burden of transmission number 3.
So I remember
It's real spicy from here on
I
out.
remember you dropping it off and you said, I bet you it won't start if you go out right now and try and start it. And I took the key and I walked out and it fired right up. And I was like, oh, fuck, here we
Tom
go.
walks in and does the classic, couldn't replicate the problem. Here's your
Yeah.
keys back.
Yeah. So I was like, it's fixed. And she's like, what? And I'm like, it started.
I touched it
Yeah.
and it fixed it.
We did the old magic wand. And you were so dead set. You're like, no, absolutely not. I'm leaving it. Drive it as much as you want. I don't care. Figure it the fuck out. It's not going back to the dealer. And I was like, fair enough. So I ended up driving it a bunch locally.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get the 15 minutes in and all the other stuff, and it never did it for me. And I finally was like, you know what, screw it. I'm driving it home. So I'm 28 miles from the shop to my house. I drive it home.
Side note, how many miles did they put on it at the dealership?
We'll get to
No,
that.
no. We're jumping ahead there.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So I drive it home. I bring
The
I bring
Autel.
bring the Autel scanner. I bring multiple starter relays and a hammer with me. Because I'm
Okay,
like,
Jeremy Clarkson.
yeah, well, I'm like, maybe the starter's getting stuck. Oh, actually, I'm skipping a part here.
You are.
I am skipping a part. This is we racked it. We put it in the air and we went underneath. And
you checked all the grounds.
I was
Oh,
checking
yeah,
all the grounds
that's
and all
right.
the wiring.
Yep.
And the starter.
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
starter
right.
signal
Because-
wire connector was broken.
No. The tip-in came later, but
Oh,
the,
starter.
Yeah.
but the starter
Yeah.
connector was
We-
broken.
Because
That's
it was
right.
the same time as AK having his
Yeah,
starting
that's
problem.
right.
which was battery cables.
That's right.
So I was convinced it was going to be a ground issue because that's what AK's was.
Yep.
So we checked every ground. Every ground was tight and clean because your Jeep is spotless. It might be one of the cleanest Jeeps we have in the shop. It's okay.
We'll fix it. We'll fix
You
it.
admit it. You
should be proud of that.
Oh,
It wouldn't be a
easy.
pavement princess if the transmission was working
Fair,
long enough to
fair,
drive
yeah.
it off pavement.
So
You know,
then-
we'll get you signed up for the next
so-
24 hours of Appalachia. You would love that. Did you know about that?
That would murder that
Hey,
Jeep.
hey,
Focus,
ADD.
focus.
Rein it in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rein it in.
More slander.
So,
more slander.
so we find the broken connector on the starter. We put a new connector in.
Yep.
And a new starter in. And I remember having the discussion about, hey, this is technically warranty because they probably had the starter out last. Do you want to warranty this? And you said,
No.
fuck them. So we put the starter in.
Literally.
And,
Literally.
and,
Literally, we
I
said,
did
"Fuck 'em."
more. I did more test driving, and everything seemed good.
Yeah.
Well, we also did the classic. We left it running in the
Yes,
parking lot.
we let it idle to get
and we
it
let it
warm.
idle for like
Yeah.
3 hours,
and it was fine.
And we went back out, fired right up, and we're like, "Cool,
All
it's
day.
fixed.
Yeah,
it's
all day.
great."
It restarted every time.
And then you call me to come pick it up.
What?
And I did.
Yeah.
I came to pick it up.
And it was
I drove it home.
Notice the
And-
sauce in her voice.
Yeah.
I did. I
not
came and
directed
picked
at
it up.
us,
I
but
came and
general
picked it up.
sauce. Yeah.
I paid
not
my
driving.
bill.
Yep.
I picked it up.
Yep.
I drove it home. And at that time, you guys were still in the other shop.
Yep.
And it's about the same distance, but
pour it into
15
mine. How's that?
minutes
Don't feel like
ish.
you need to finish anything.
Okay. And so I get home. I walk inside. I think I had to go back to work. I had picked it up between
Yeah.
work meetings or something. Giuseppe goes outside to run an errand. He comes back in, slams
Stop
the door, and he's
doing
like, "They
errands."
didn't fix a fucking thing."
wasn't our fault. We did. The connector was actually broken. I
It
promise.
was. It was. We have pictures.
Yeah.
You
It
fixed
was.
the wrong fucking thing.
We fixed something.
We fixed something.
It would have been
What
a
had to
problem.
happen was
They fixed something, but not the thing that was causing the issue. Anyway, so I call Tom and Trevor back up, and I was like, "Yeah, so she's not fixed."
And I
It's
think
not
I think I said wait 20 minutes, start it up, and drive it back. And you did. And that's when I started getting real nerdy about it, and it became my existence for 2 weeks. And
I can attest to that.
I remember driving it home because I remember getting in my driveway. It was dark, and I was swapping relays. I was hitting the starter with a hammer, and Carrie came out in the driveway and was like, "What are you doing? And whose Jeep is that?" And I was like,
It's my new Jeep.
I'm like Diag, and then
Diagonal. It's a customer's Jeep.
and the whole time I'm basically
Full
starter
New
rock.
Jersey caveman.
Full starter rock. I notice on live data, on the TCM live data, there are 2 different check lines for the park neutral sensor. So as we learned in this process, there are 2 on the Wrangler. There is a shifter sensor, and then there is a range sensor inside the transmission attached to the valve body.
That's fucking stupid.
It is stupid.
It gets even stupider.
It does get even stupider.
You're telling me Jeeps are unreliable and stupid?
It gets even stupider.
Give me 20 of them.
So,
Okay, but endorphins.
yeah.
no, I know, I get it.
So I'm literally playing with the shifter
It's the
in the
stupidest
driveway.
hobby.
I've already swapped the relays, no change, all this stuff. Both lines recognize that the vehicle is in park, but there's a third line, and literally the line on the screen is "okay to crank?" ? And the box is yes or no. Everything says park, but it says not. It says no for okay to crank, and I'm like,
That's
well, that's
weird.
fascinating. At this point, my wife's like, dinner's ready, come in the house. So I just shut it all down. Yeah.
I'm on to something
Yeah,
here.
well, and that's I'm at dinner.
You're
and
ruining the
I'm,
moment.
I'm literally, I am thinking about the Jeep.
It's elementary, my dear Watson.
And my wife is looking at me, is like, is everything okay? And I'm like,
No.
I start walking. I start walking through my diag process.
This is Tom's
at
favoritism.
dinner.
Fucking Rain Man.
At dinner, like the baby.
73 toothpicks.
The baby's asleep. Carrie had a stressful day at work, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, but what doesn't make sense is the relay's been replaced. The relay clicks. The relay clicks, but you're not getting 12 volts to the starter. What's weird is the relay shouldn't click if it's not in park. And I go through this whole thing.
This is when Carrie smacked
Yeah.
him with the pan out of the oven.
Yeah, basically. And then
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
I woke up the next morning, I put the scanner on, and I look, and it says,
Snap out of it,
okay,
man.
it says, okay to crank, yes. And I'm like, and I turn the key, and it starts. And I was like, okay, we're onto something. I can now tell when it's going to not start and start on demand on the screen.
You're the only one able to do that.
Apparently. Even though our aftermarket scanner isn't as good as factory scanner, whatever. Anyway. So
They didn't. I'm sure the mics didn't pick you up. Giuseppe said,
we were the only ones to ever figure that out.
Yeah.
No. So
It's not
believe
about
it or
you
not,
knowing.
it did pick it up.
It's about the audience knowing. It's not about you
Yeah, I
knowing.
know, but I heard
Yeah,
him in the
Tom.
headphones. Did you hear him in the headphones? It just was
The
distant.
audience didn't hear it.
Anyway, so the next morning at the shop,
so full of himself.
I
know that.
I drive it. I drive it to the shop.
Yep.
And
Try to crank it.
Well, no, I pulled up, and I backed into a parking space. And when I put it in park, I looked at the screen, and it said yes. And I was like, "That's weird," because it replicated in the driveway, no problem. But why is it when I'm at the shop, it's fixed? So I remember you and I had like an hour-long conversation. I'm like, did I fix it with the new relay? Are we good?
That's right.
So I'm like, I'm going to go drive it again later. We'll figure it out. So I'm like, I'm going to go get lunch. Take the long way. This is still at the old shop. And I drive up to the Sheets, which is now by the new shop, ironically. And I pull into the Sheets. And vehicle running.
I think we're about to get back to whiskey.
It's fine. I put it in park. I put it in park, and I look at the screen, and it says park, no. And I'm like, ooh, I'm onto something here. Shut it off. Go to restart it. Doesn't restart. Cool. Get out of the Jeep. I go in. I order a couple hot dogs at Sheets. Get my Arnold Palmer.
Hell
Biggest
yeah,
mistake
brother.
of his life.
Couple hot dogs.
How many hot dogs? I ordered a few.
Order a couple dollar hot dogs.
Pretzel
and
bun.
Sheets.
Pretzel
Here's your
bun.
bag of 10.
You know what's funny is that the show
Pretzel bun, relish, mustard, grilled
Two are
onions.
for later.
the show Tires is just about your shop.
Yeah, I know. It's great. I love it.
Fucking Shane Gillis' Tires is just you
hire
guys.
Shane Gillis in a
Off-topic.
heartbeat. Anyway.
Well, we need to get back to whiskey. We need to get back. We're
Hold
gonna
on,
get
hold on,
started.
hold on. Finish
I'm-
this section.
this is
an
the
epiphany.
breakthrough. This is the
a
breakthrough.
revelation. It's really
So I come back out with my hot dogs, and I'm like, let's
Joe,
see.
Glizzed up, if you will.
Yeah. I'm double glizzed up on a Tuesday.
Throwing hot dogs at it.
He's been emptying the Jeep. He's double
I fixed it.
I'm double glizzed up.
It took mustard.
I put the key on. It
D.
still
Sean.
says no. I'm like, perfect. Go to crank it. No start. Yay! Replication. Start eating my glizzies.
Glizzed up. Now you're getting glizzed up.
I got the
With
radio
this Grey
on.
Poupon.
I left the key on, and like the Autel is a big tablet, and it's got a little hook thing. It's got sitting on the steering wheel. My foot's on the brake out of habit. Radio's on. I'm listening to music. I'm eating my hot dog, and I take my foot off the brake. The Jeep literally rolls an inch. It just rolls back because it's a slight hill. I hear click, click, and I look at the screen, and it says yes. And I was like, motherfucker.
There's got to be weight on the transmission.
It's the range sensor. The range sensor is just sticking in the valve body. All the transmission rotated, something clicked, and it could start. And this was like 3 minutes after I had gotten back in the car, so it was not the full 20-minute
I didn't
period.
finish the
You're down
glizzy
in a
yet.
glizz.
So yeah,
I
so,
didn't even finish the glizzy
so
yet.
I I throat the glizzies.
That's getting clipped too. This is so clippable.
That's the intro to the episode. So I wrote the glizzies.
So anyway, I started throating glizzies.
Hell yeah, brother.
That Grey Poupon really helps him slide on down.
Glub glub. Glub.
I drive back to the shop and like
He degloved that.
I hate you guys. This is the stupidest fucking thing we do.
get back to the shop, and I'm all excited. I'm like, I can replicate it. I can figure it out. Replicate it in the parking lot twice. I'm able to get it to say no, roll the Jeep by hand, get the click, and the screen changes to yes. So we send it home, and I tell him, like, if it doesn't start, just push the Jeep back and forth. It'll be fine.
You're a strong lady.
Well, because
Just rock it a little bit.
I'm
work out.
Well, it was like one of those things, like,
I wish there was a video of how stupid I was trying to like physically shake my
There's that
Jeep.
crazy neighbor lady pushing her Jeep again.
She must be a Mormon.
I'm gonna say
I'm just trying to get it started.
You got that one?
the first phone call that we got from her after she attempted to push the Jeep to make it to click, I swear there's a hint in there of like, you're telling me this to make me look stupid. This isn't real, and
You're
I
fucking
did
with
it,
me,
and
right?
You're fucking with me.
yeah, but you gotta remember, I did it with hot dogs in my mouth.
Wow.
Double glizz.
That's so clippable.
Wait.
I did it with hot dogs.
Two at the same time?
Yeah. Well,
Just
yeah,
double-
you gotta.
Getting
He's
double
the
dicked by
glizzard,
glizzies.
okay?
Oh my god. So I tried to rocket forward in the seat, and I like
Yeah,
can't,
you gotta
but
get
I
out
got-
and physically roll it.
But I did. I
Right.
got out, and look, I'm strong. The Jeep moved
Nobody's
back
doubting
and
that.
forth,
Doing it while I was
but
in park or neutral? Or
Park.
Yeah, it wouldn't do it.
it wouldn't do.
I
He
got
tried
that
to.
I
I
just-
just roll like crazy and it didn't do shit.
I think you just have more heft. That's what you told me.
Well, he's
I
a
don't know,
thick
it's
boy.
not
Yeah.
heft, it's fat.
It's
the glizzies.
I definitely have more heft, but it's also
Hot dog oil.
like it's that magic touch of it's the hot dog oil.
Just needed that little bit extra lubrication.
Yeah, did you do it with glizzies? Did you rock the Jeep with the glizzards?
Did you have a hot dog in your hand?
Can you imagine Kayla with a hot dog half in her mouth.
I think that should be your license plate. Blizzard.
Oh, God.
I'll put it on Honda.
This is so stupid.
This is Blizzard
I feel like you don't eat a lot of hot dogs, though. Not a big hot dog girl.
I'm not a big hot dog fan.
Anyway.
Give me a burger any day.
That's the problem. She did
That's
with a
just
hamburger, not a hot
bologna.
dog.
It's just bologna.
Anyway, I couldn't replicate the fix.
So the dilemma for us at this point is we now know it is definitely transmission related,
Look over this.
and the valve body assembly, which it contains that sensor, was like $300 or $400 plus 8 quarts ATF plus labor. And I
you
was
gotta
like,
tear the transmission
and I
apart.
was like, I really don't want to tear apart your brand new
quote unquote.
quote unquote brand new warranted transmission. Well, I hate to say this, but I think you're gonna have to take it back to the dealer. So you were away when at this point.
Probably I'm away a lot,
Well, right, but no, because we had that
both
conversation.
mentally and physically.
Yeah,
Got it.
and
I'm with you. I'm tracking.
I went and dropped the Jeep off at the dealership for you.
You did. I think I was in Denver for work.
Yeah,
Correct.
and
First of 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, I definitely was
Yeah.
in Denver because I remember talking to Glue Stick while I was in
Yeah.
Denver trying to get
so
coffee.
I brought the scanner with me.
Glue stick.
I was like, I had the full explanation. I was ready to go, and I pull the Jeep into the service lane. I got Dirt Nerds hat, Dirt Nerds shirt on, and the Jeep rolls in, and I watch.
Amazingly, that didn't work.
I watch all but 2 service advisors get up from their desk and walk away. And I was like, oh,
They
this
said, nope.
yeah. I was like, this is gonna be fun. So the
I
two
got water, so.
the irony of this is the 2 service advisors that were at their desks are the 2 that are already in the story, Glue Stick and Blanton's, right? So Blanton's is on the phone. Glue Stick has a customer in front of him.
Fucking what great nicknames.
Yeah. The Glue Stick finishes with the customer and just disappears.
Can we make him a sticker and just give it to him and call him a glue stick?
Yeah, we should.
I'm gonna hand one to Grey Poupon as
Yeah.
well.
He just disappears. And I'm like,
You will
cool,
not get
you're
that
a
again,
dick.
But it is really good.
Blanton's is on the phone, and I can tell his phone conversation's over, but he's dragging out the phone call.
It's tiny.
Like, I'm pretty sure there was nobody on the other line at this point, and he's just doing the, yep, okay, no problem, yeah, and he does that for like 5 minutes.
Can we take a whiskey break?
Sure.
Okay. The PD stuff was too much. That was too smoky.
Too much for him.
For you?
That,
me,
that was
yeah.
entry level
It's
smoke.
okay. I finished it for him.
Tim's a bitch.
Really? I thought this was way smokier than the Offerman.
Your Offerman is more
Did you
pure.
not
The
learn
new
last
one,
time
no,
that Tim
so
has
the,
no palate?
So the new one is aged in a rum barrel.
Okay.
It was like
Listen to the disdain
That's
in
okay.
her
It's so
fucking
heated
voice.
on.
That's the same tone
Okay.
she uses with glow stick. Or
Glue stick.
Maybe no whiskey for me this time around.
yeah, I'm down for something a little less PD. It was
You
the
was.
same tone of voice that Kayla had walking into that dealership for the second
Do you
time.
have any actual apple juice for baby Timmy?
Apple juice! You know the other one that tastes like apple that's not peated? Ah, here we go.
Here we go.
Glen Talkers.
Oh yeah, that's
I feel like we're in like a potions lab.
I know.
Like
It's a
Harry
mad
Potter.
It's a mad scientist over here.
Oh, no, this is what you need.
It's a 22-year-old Glen Talker.
And Kayla,
Just a touch. The wizard doesn't
Tell the
pick
audience
whiskey.
what the whiskey is.
whiskey
I
picks the
poured
wizard.
him a 22
whiskey, Harry.
Trevor, shut up.
I poured him a 22-year-old Glen Talkers, but this is bottled by Alexander Murray and Company, which is a independent bottler. They're great. I have a lot of independent bottlers in the bar. Anyway, Glen Talkers is delicious. Like, it's just delicious. Every Glen Talkers I've had is great. I think I have
Are we
another Glen Talkers here.
are we gonna do an over under on how many sips it takes for Tim to realize he doesn't like this one either?
well, so for the
was distilled when we
the first one, it was a second sip of
I'll
the
finish it for him.
Ben Rika
I finished the last
that
one
I
for
realized
him.
it was just too smoky.
Ben Rioch.
Ben Riak. I didn't get anything but smoke
Rika.
there.
Bless you.
Okay, but literally your Offerman is more peated than that.
Ooh.
But does it have other flavors?
Can you
Yeah, do that into the mic.
can you
PJ, can you do that?
Oh yeah.
little ASMR.
Okay.
It's the dudes groaning that does it for me.
We're gonna have like 4 weeks worth of content to clip from this episode because it's like 8 hours long.
How long is it?
It's
Way long.
Oh, we're not that bad.
So
No?
you're over there.
No, we started recording like 30 minutes after I hit the button.
Fair point. Anyway,
Anyway.
Anywho.
Okay, everybody has whiskey? You know,
I'm
you're
good.
good for now.
Yeah.
We'll catch you on the next whiskey break.
next one around.
What do you want? Okay.
So where were we? You were telling your story.
Right, so
you showed up to the dealership.
I am now at this point dropping Kayla's Jeep off at the dealership for her because she's out of town,
and you've been ghosted by everyone.
well, yeah. So
Essentially.
yeah. So I have the fix. I am here with like part numbers ready to go. Hold on. We're doing a lot of pointing and pouring.
Hey, this one tastes like banana bread.
Excuse me?
I like
banana bread
Hold on,
at
hold on.
work though.
B-A-N-A-N-A
I'll take
bread.
some of that.
Yeah?
I'll take some of
You
that.
can
yeah.
actually get this one at
No.
the Virginia ABC.
Oh.
On lottery?
occasionally.
Oh, so this is obtainable.
That's
whiskey.
smoky too.
This one
The
is
other
obtainable.
449 bottles are not obtainable.
This is it's not smoky. No.
That
It's
didn't get
Irish
washed
whiskey.
out. That's
PJ,
why.
Yeah,
PJ,
it's-
you're
Oh, I thought
so
you
wrong.
Sorry.
I mean, it didn't get washed out, and that
oh, whoops.
it was very smoky. From
Yeah,
the last-
it's all right. But I got the same thing. Anyway,
Wait,
so
where did my glass go?
uh-oh.
Ding.
That's-
Ding.
Oh, puppy.
There's always a
Hi.
puppy.
so yeah, so I'm at the dealership. I've got the scanner in hand. I am hooked up to live data. The vehicle currently says no while it's sitting in the service lane. May or may not have done that on purpose. Figured, they can't say they couldn't replicate it if the Jeep doesn't restart when it's in the
This
service
is
lane.
next
Yeah.
for you guys.
And glue stick walks away. I get stuck with Blanton's. Blanton's finally decides to help me. He recognizes what the vehicle is, and I end up getting shuffled off to Dijon Mustard.
Is Dijon Mustard like the service
Wait, you
manager?
met Dijon?
Oh, I didn't realize who he was at the
Dijon
time.
Mustard?
Yeah.
Wait, we're calling...
Grey Poupon.
Grey
Grey
Poupon.
Poupon.
Oh,
He
Close
met
enough.
him. I spoke to him.
Mustard's mustard.
Neither were pleasant experiences.
Yes. So, the mustard guy.
The mustard guy.
Mustard Man.
The Mustard
We're gonna
Man.
call him Mustard
The
Man.
funny part is anyone who works at said dealership
You will understand this. Yeah.
will know.
Yeah.
Don't worry,
Which is
I will-
fine. They already know. They already know this whole story.
I will forward it to the dealer owner because I'm sure I know him.
Just find the parts list between the different
So-
things interesting.
So I get shuffled off to the service manager at this point, and I literally walk him through the entire diag process. Right? He takes notes, the whole thing. I show it to him. We go out to the Jeep, hit the key. Jeep doesn't start. I show him what I'm looking at. Go through the whole thing. He's like, "Okay, good."
But
to know.
he's got no idea what you're talking about
apparently not.
because service
Well-
technicians don't know mechanics.
Right, but he writes the. I
They're
watch
supposed
him
to.
write this down on a post-it note.
Wait, were you... Which service advisor were you with?
So sent me.
Finish your drink.
Mark it.
Sorry.
Hold on.
I got it. I can't physically mark it. I just have to look at the
yeah, yeah.
timestamp.
Now pause. So
Blanton's.
sends me down the hallway to the end of the row.
Bum.
Sorry, I've been drinking. He sends me down, and I go through the whole process with the guy. I'm leaving the dealership feeling pretty confident. Like, hey, like I was chill about it. Didn't call anybody an idiot. Was like, very simply, here's the process we did. I fully expect you to replicate this process and find what we found. Right? Tell him the whole rocking the Jeep, the click, the whole 9 yards. Cool, yeah, no problem, and I leave.
Here, you can try.
We were what,
I don't have to-
2-3 weeks later, and you still hadn't heard anything back?
Yeah, about 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks after I drop it off. No call from the dealership. Nothing. Right?
Yeah.
So then you started bugging them again.
Yes.
And that's when they
Wait, I did get one outreach. Okay, so you dropped it off.
Yep.
And the Glue Stick
Yep.
called
Glow
me
stick.
while I was still in Denver and was like, "Why is your Jeep
Oh,
here?"
that's right. That's what yeah.
So he called me and he was like, "Why is it here?" And I was like, "Well, DirtNerds dropped it off and relayed literally everything to you all." So I relay it all again, and I was like, "I think there's something going on with the transmission." I was like,
How could you, a woman, know that?
I know, right?
How dare you?
I forgot what I told him at the time. I think maybe I said
Something yeah.
that it was like
No,
the
I don't want to.
throttle body control or whatever.
The range sensor, but yeah.
I don't even remember if I said that. I was just like, Dirt Nerds dropped it off and like left you a very detailed memo on what was wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, but essentially, like I can drive from point A to point B and can't drive from B to C immediately.
Yep.
I was like, so something's going on with the transmission. And he was like, okay, well, like, we'll look at it.
Yeah.
And so weeks go by. And look, at this point, I'm like, it's frustrating, but I think I was gone to Denver for like a whole week at that point. So it wasn't like super inconvenient for me at the moment, right?
Yeah.
So that was probably the
Future inconvenience were to come.
Yeah. Okay, so this is, I don't know, maybe it's like Monday or something. I'm in Denver.
I don't remember the days of the week, but
So I'm back the next week. I work from home on Mondays, so also not really an issue with needing to get to work. I think by Tuesday of the next week, I called and I was like, yeah, so why haven't I heard from you? And so Glowstick was like, oh, we haven't gotten to it yet. Oh, Glowstick. Shit. Whatever.
better than my mistake.
Glowstick. Anywho.
It's a lot to keep track of.
This is a
So
glowing
this is
review.
like,
Fix this. Fucked hard.
okay, so by like Tuesday, they confirmed they haven't even touched my vehicle. And they've had it for over a week since you guys dropped it off. And I was like, well, what the fuck? And so I relay everything to him again. He asked me again what the problem was. And he was like, okay, well, we'll test it today. And I was like, wow, magic. What'd you do for the last week?
2 weeks, yeah.
So the next, I don't know, it's probably 2 days go by. He calls. We can't replicate the problem. I was like, bullshit, I can replicate the problem for you. I was like, get in the car and drive from your undisclosed location in Northern Virginia to Washington, D.C., near the Capitol,
Off a cliff.
and the problem will present itself.
Go drive up the steps of the Capitol, and the problem will go away.
Yeah, all of the literally all of the problems.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Okay, so, but let me just, like, say this for everybody. Like, it is, the like, litmus test is literally leaving my house in Reston, Virginia, and driving to 500
enough.
North Capitol Street, which is Union Station area of D.C., like, no matter what, that
Or
replicates...
from our shop to Sheets.
Sure.
Yeah.
That replicated the problem
And get a
every...
couple glizzies.
Same distance.
It replicated the problem every single time.
Yeah.
Right? So we know that, like, it takes me 35-ish minutes to get to work. We know that driving it through the gears for 35-ish minutes will get you the...
The result you
I
want.
will also preface this as, if you do you normally back into parking spaces?
Yes.
Oh, you hard park.
Oh, never mind.
Hell
that.
yeah, brother.
Okay, I'm parking under...
No, that completely throws out my entire theory.
Oh.
Because my
I
entire
park in
theory
an
was if you
underground
went from
parking
drive
garage.
to park,
Oh.
the sensor stuck. But if you went drive to reverse to park, it was fine. Because when I backed into parking spaces, it never gave me a problem.
Oh, no, I back into... we have an
See, but that-
underground garage,
See,
so
that,
I
would,
always back in.
that wouldn't make any difference, though, because
I
the
parked-
shifters...
There's a McLaren that parks beside me
Oh,
every
hell
day,
yeah.
and let me tell you how nervous I am, because, you know, Jeeps don't have, like, fucking hinges, you know, there's just, like, a little cord, right?
The doors just swing.
open.
Maybe you shouldn't park next to a McLaren.
I don't. The McLaren parks beside me.
Oh.
I get there first. And
What do you think? You're going to just take your doors off to get in? Like,
Why your car had no door?
No, the McLaren
Why you do
just... We don't have assigned spots, but it's like kind of the unassigned seat. Like, I park
Why
in the
your
same
Jeep
spot
don't
every
stop?
day.
Yeah, sure, I do the same thing.
McLaren parks beside me. Maybe the McLaren
just-
guy feels
you know
safe.
what it is? It's
Maybe
your
he
Jeep
feels
is
safe.
clean. Your Jeep is clean.
It's clean.
He
He's
trusts
not
you.
worried.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
This
The doors work fine on that one.
This Jeep is not a heathen. I can park next to this one.
Oh,
If you-
bumpers are gonna protect the car.
If you park Tom's Jeep
Anyway.
next to that McLaren, he's not parking there again.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have doors on it, so you're good.
Yeah,
He would go,
you're fine.
nope.
Anyway,
Sometimes I don't have doors on it, but the last time I drove,
you
so,
drive doorless into DC?
yeah,
But
and
you're
that's-
braver than me.
Okay, yeah, okay. So
Brave.
now we're taking a little bit of a side quest, but the last time that I drove doorless and topless into DC, a huge
Ticket for that?
no.
God damn it, Trevor.
Anyway,
Doors?
where my
I'm sorry,
office,
Giuseppe. I'm sorry, Kayla.
where my office is located is also there's a lot
You
of
can't be
people
here. Get
asking
out.
for money and stuff.
Urban nomads.
Yes. Actually, I think the politically correct term is the unhoused.
Oh, did we change it again?
The unhoused.
Dude, the urban nomads was Alex's thing.
Anyway, one of them
Anyway.
got into my Jeep. Like, I was at the stoplight getting ready to turn to, like, 395, like, near the Capitol.
Uber's here.
And they just got
Not
into
in
my
DC.
vehicle. And I was like, I'm sorry. I really need you to leave.
I'm not an Uber.
Anyway, I digress. I
Side
leave my
quest
doors
over.
on now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will drive, like, with the top off to DC,
Sure.
but I do leave my doors on now.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so, shit. Right.
Try that shit in Northern
Glue
Virginia.
stick.
I remember. Glue stick.
Yeah.
Yes. So they call, they say, we can't replicate the problem. I was like, well, bullshit. Here's how you do it. And they were like, oh, well, we let it idle for hours in the
Excuse
parking
me?
lot.
Yeah.
Hours.
Yep.
They let it
Are you my grandmother who forgot she left her car running?
they let it idle for
Because
hours.
she's done that.
So I
At least they didn't charge you the 8 hours of idle time as diag.
okay, but they did charge me. Not for the idle time.
For the gas.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you
right.
for the fuel.
That's yeah.
So
Oh, we can't
I
drive
get-
it now because it's out of gas.
yes.
That's, yeah.
Okay, so I relay.
It's a good thing it's Pride Month because
I
that's
say-
fucking gay.
I say, well, you actually have to drive it. You have to drive it for a certain amount of time. You have to shift through gears. Like, I don't
My
know
blood
if there's
pressure's
like
going up. I can
heat
feel
is
it.
related to it. Who knows? At this point, we don't know really, like
we
what's.
know.
Well,
They just grab a handful of darts and went,
A handful. It was a dart.
A dart.
And they threw it at.
And it was a bullseye.
And I can tell you. Well,
somebody
no.
with the board going, oh,
No, the board is not equally divided. It's 90% tip them and 10% send it home.
wait, we haven't got to the tip 'em yet, but. At this point, we know that it is the transmission unequivocally, but
Yeah.
at the same time,
we as a
Wait.
group,
Dirt
the,
yeah,
the
we as a
five
group,
of us.
Dirt
not you,
Nerds.
Tim.
Dirt nerds.
Not me.
we as
Oh
a
my
group.
God.
Get the fuck out.
No,
Oh my
Tim's
God.
hearing this for the first time.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Okay, look.
Tim's
so,
a bum.
I've
doesn't
never
work
heard this story
It's
before.
story time.
Bert Kreischer, story time.
Yep.
story time.
So, I was in Russia. So my daughter had
It's just going off
So we
the
robbed
rails.
the dealership.
Okay, so
I am the Glizzard.
obviously we, as in Dirt Nerds and myself, know something is wrong with the transmission, but we don't exactly know like why, like why it becomes replicable, right? Like,
why
is
it had
it
to happen.
35 minutes you got to drive it? Is it 25 minutes? Is it heat? Is it like? I mean,
I can fill that blanket for
okay,
you.
well, fill the blanket. But at this time, I mean, like, I don't.
You should have
know
asked that question.
I
The range sensor essentially is just a plunger, right? That
Yeah.
has a resistance value, so the computer knows where the little wheel is that's turning. So at some point in that process, that little plunger of the sensor
No, continue.
would get stuck. And when it got stuck, the computer went,
It doesn't
we're still in
always get
drive.
stuck at the same time.
But that's the point, right?
Fucking nerd.
He's mansplaining.
I'm not mansplaining.
Actually,
It's because you're a woman.
That's why it gets stuck. When men drive it, the Jeep functions perfectly fine.
That's why when he rolled it, it fixed it.
Yeah.
When
that's
you
why I
rolled
go
it,
back
it
to
did.
hot dog
Blast.
oil.
You need more glizzards.
That
Sweats
bolognese sauce.
Whatever.
If we were a notable podcast, we would be canceled.
For saying glizzies?
No, for Trevor saying that because she's a woman.
It's fine.
It's
I'm not offended.
sarcasm.
First of all,
It's
a
sarcasm,
joke.
and
Oh,
I'm
no,
not
I know.
offended. It's fine. But no,
She's more
I
offended
mean,
that she crossfits.
I don't. I'm
That
gonna
is the
beat
most.
you.
That is the most offensive thing you've said to her
She's gonna
all night.
split you in half.
That's what she threatened to do at the dealership. To
Yeah.
glue stick.
We haven't got there yet.
I mean,
we
that's
haven't
all
got
we
there
got.
yet.
Okay. So when I'm talking to glue stick, I mean, I don't have the exact science, right, for when to replicate the problem. All I know is that if I leave my house and drive to DC, it'll replicate,
Yeah.
right? There are times that it definitely would happen just from going here to Harris Teeter, which is just a couple miles away, your shop to Sheets. So there's not like an exact formula for making it happen.
Operating temperature.
But yes,
Yeah.
so it does seem to be temperature related. So I bring that up. So he says, okay, later I'm still in the office in DC.
Ooh, that. So I took a sip,
Yeah.
Back to whiskey.
swished it, and blew out. Then it fucking hit me. It's like that's a fucking delicious little flavor you got there.
Which one did I
Wow,
give you?
wow, wow.
Wow, wow, wow. The Glen Talkers. It's a little,
Yeah.
it's very orchard fruit.
That's I was gonna say it's a little
Smoking
apple.
weed or something?
Did you just taste that out of like 1960s UK Britain? Like,
Are there more balls?
hit me. Sure. It was a tasty little morsel.
Well, listen, that one got me.
Back to the
I
Jeep.
also just
Back to the
realized
Jeeps.
Kayla has a possum in her hair.
Oh yeah, I do.
Oh,
shit.
that's adorable.
I didn't even see that either.
Awesome.
Oh, possum.
Oh wow.
I love possums.
Possums are
So-
awesome.
Possums are
So
awesome.
side quest.
Awesome.
Side
Yeah,
quest.
side quest.
So a guy at my fire department adopted a possum. He saw sad story.
PJ wants a raccoon.
He saw his mother get hit by a car, and then he's like, "There's a fucking baby possum there." He brought it into his house and raised it, and now like it got too big where it couldn't be in the house with the rest of the animals.
that counts as adoption. I'm pretty sure that's like
Stealing.
That's like murder.
Pretty
and
sure that's
kidnapping.
illegal
he
in
did-
Virginia.
He
But
didn't.
don't possums have a very short lifespan? They like.
Well, yeah,
Not
'cause
really.
they get hit by cars.
Not really.
Just like his mom.
Hey.
Anyway,
But yeah, so
back to the tranny story.
Whoa!
Bambi
Think it's Pride
2.0.
he adopted a possum, raised it. It got too big. Now it comes back every so often. He gives it treats.
I can't imagine
And
why
now
we can't get a corporate
domestic
sponsorship.
Is this Possum and the Hound? What?
Oh yeah, brother.
Do they share a bowl of spaghetti? Some
Yeah,
Okay.
they kiss.
So
Now kiss.
earlier that morning, this is like, say this is Tuesday or something. I'm definitely in the DC office. Like I've metroed in. This wasn't when I was like assaulted on the metro yet. That does happen.
Yes.
Fuck, I forgot
Did you
about
split
that.
him in half?
The good old Metro.
The good old DC Metro. Anyway, okay, so he had called me in the morning. We can't replicate the problem. I was like, bullshit. Here's what you do. That afternoon, I get a call, and it was like, hi. So well, we can't actually test drive your car because it has no fuel in it. And I was like, oh, because you idled it in the parking lot for
3 days.
Straight.
several days, and now you need to put fuel in it. And he was like, well, so do we have like he's like stumbling. I'm not being dramatic here.
Oh,
He's
so
like-
it was the meme kid.
He
Have you
was
ever had a
like, yes.
that you
Yes. And he was like, so, we have to put fuel in it. And I was like,
No shit.
yes. Put fuel in it then. He was like, but you have to pay for it. And I was like, okay.
Cool. Gas
I
is
don't know.
$3.50 a gallon,
Just-
and that's what I'll pay.
He was
Just
waiting for your
fill
arm
it
to
up.
like come through the phone and like
Just put fuel in it and go drive it.
Yeah.
So
What a concept.
Their other option is
charge me an extra
put the
hour for
transmission in.
Yeah.
or
okay. So
big
then
big thought brain
it
thought here.
is
Customer
day
that's
later,
been dealing with this
and
for
I get
months.
a call.
You fill it up for him.
It's called Goodwill.
Yeah.
It's a day later. I get a call, and they're like, "We replicated the problem." I was like,
Congratulations!
amazing,
You win a prize.
great.
Golf clap.
And so then they're like, "It is the tip'em,"
Oh,
and I was like,
dreaded word.
"Are you sure?" Because Dirt Nerds kind of already ruled that out when they checked everything. And
No, we're not capable of that.
And I was like, are you really sure? Because
This is
my four-wheel drive shop said it's really the transmission.
100%.
And they were like, we're 100% sure. I was like, cool, how much is that going to cost? And he said $1,200. This is very important. He said $1,200. And I was like, so if that does not fix the problem, what happens next? And he said, well, that's just the cost of the repair. That's a direct quote. He said, that's just the cost of the repair.
He
This
didn't
Why
answer
does
your
that sound
question.
illegal?
this is very important
This was
for
my favorite
later on.
conversation with
For later on. Because he said, that's just the cost of repair. And I said, well, I'll come pick it up today. And he was astounded. He was like, right now? And I was like, yeah. Well, I mean, what have you been doing? Like, you just drove it. Like, why can't I just come pick it up? He's like, later, like maybe 5 o'clock. And I was like, sure, whatever. So I pick it up and I call Trevor and Tom, but right before I pick it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, they said it's the tip'em. I'm bringing it to you.
bullshit.
And I was
That
like,
was literally my reaction.
Somebody was definitely driving it when you called him, and
yeah,
they were
some
like,
tech was stuck somewhere, unable to restart the vehicle, going, hey, I'm stuck in Winchester
"She's gonna
right
come
now.
pick it up soon. Get the fuck back here!"
It won't start, man.
in my mind, I was like, if I'm
exactly how
Yeah,
that went.
no, that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
if I'm spending $1,200, it is not with that dealership. I'm giving Tom my $1,200,
What you did.
which I did.
Money, please.
Which I did. Which Trevor forgot to bill me for like several days, and then was like, "Hey, can you
'Cause
pay that balance?"
I
And I was like,
resisted
"Bitch,
it.
I told you just to send me the
I
link."
resisted it so hard. I was
we
like, I
didn't
don't want to put a tip him in
Yeah,
this.
we
Wait, we
didn't.
haven't even told him that we put the tip in.
Yeah, we didn't forget. It was one of those like we felt so bad.
I was trying to figure out how to get our money back so I didn't have to charge you. Because I'm like, I know this is not the tip 'em. I'm like, I'm willing to do this just out of principle so you don't have to pay them money.
However,
Buy the
this
tip
does-
them from that dealership.
We did.
Yes. Because fair point.
best part.
Because fair point. The parts guys are awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But this also leads to probably the best accusation that the dealership had against us as a shop.
Yeah.
We're just a
in
bunch
this-
of knuckle
in this
draggers.
entire story, and I
Yeah.
will let Kayla tell.
They
it.
said knuckle draggers.
No. So
I wish.
So
That
we,
would've made
we,
me
we
erect.
order up the tip 'em, which we've
Wait,
replaced.
first you call me. I'm in North Carolina.
You're right. I did. I made sure you were okay.
Are you ever home?
So my boy Tommy calls me up one day.
So
I'm in North Carolina. I
Yeah.
get a call from Tom, and it was like, "Look, here's our options. I know it's the transmission." He was like, "But any dealership is gonna try to make you replace the tip 'em." He did. I'm choking on the balls.
Happy Pride Month.
one of us.
So Tom is like, this is like 5 p.m. on a Friday.
Yeah, I'm like,
He's like clearly done with all of this too. He calls me and he's like, "Look, here's our options. It's not the tip 'em. I really don't want to put a tip 'em in it, but any dealership, clearly the one that you've been going to, is going to make you do this. It is the transmission. The transmission's under warranty. I think we put the tip 'em in to say fuck you. We did it, and it didn't work."
Yeah.
And so we literally set $1,200 on fire.
Yeah.
All of us. We just put $1,200 in the road and set on fire. Well, you got your $1,200, but I set it on fire.
Breaking even.
But yeah, that was just the cost of the part.
Yeah.
The $1,200.
Yeah.
Oh, but so this is the joke of
They
it.
didn't even charge me labor.
Putting a tip 'em in literally takes 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you've done it before, if you've removed the fuse box on a Chrysler, it literally takes.
If you do it correctly.
Well, how would I know?
Just fuck sticks and glow sticks, man.
And that's like, I will admit, I will admit publicly, I didn't reflash everything, which is why the airbag light
Idiot.
came on, and why we were accused
Fucking dumbass.
of not installing literally the puzzle piece that only goes in the vehicle in one way. It's literally impossible to
The
plug it in.
square goes in the square hole.
Yeah.
You guys didn't see it properly. We know this true story.
Wait.
man.
Okay, so I
Rookie.
don't know.
So the tip didn't fix it.
Monday, Tom calls and he's like, "Yeah, the tip 'em didn't fix it." Like, and we're like, "Yeah,
This
I
is
know."
my shocked face.
I'm
You gotta
so
say it with
shocked.
a little bit more grit in your teeth.
So I get back to Virginia. I pick it up, and I was like, I think, did we even take it directly back to the shop? Is that when we spent? No. Trevor and I spent almost an hour calling different dealerships to see if anybody would
That's
take.
to the ambiance, Tim.
Yeah.
And I was trying to mute your mic, and I muted Tom's.
So Trevor and I spent almost an hour calling different Virginia dealerships to see if anybody would take my vehicle because it is under warranty. Well, the transmission is. It's a Mopar warranty. And what? They put us on hold. They strung us along. Like, no one would
Oh,
respond.
yeah, because they were like, I'm running as far away from that as possible.
Which any dealership would. They don't want to touch another
Yeah.
dealership's mess.
Well, and again, like, I fully would expect any shop, like we do it, people come in and tell us, oh, the shop told me this. We verify it.
Yeah.
Are other shops correct? Yeah. Oh, often.
Yeah.
Often. I just go, oh, yeah, okay. I agree with that. We'll put the parts in.
So, I don't know. After an hour, I was like, fuck it. I got to call this same dealership.
Yeah.
Glue stick.
So I call,
It's a stupid
and
fucking name.
Blanton's answers the phone.
Oh.
And I specifically said, do not transfer me to glue stick. Oh my God, I totally missed over. Sorry. During the time span of the second transmission had crapped out, the one that thermalocked, and we were getting
coupon answers.
we were getting this one that gives a no crank. I was like, I have to have a vehicle. Like, I'm going to Philly this weekend, whatever. So they did give me a loaner for a couple days. I have the documentation over here. Right. It was a hot red Compass, and it had a stick of weed in the door. So like free
hell
drugs.
yeah! Like a stick of weed or like a pre-roll?
It was in a. Have you heard of Scentbird? I don't use it, but it's like a perfume company that will send you like.
That's cute.
They were hiding their pre-roll.
It was like they were hiding it. It was anyway.
So did you smoke the pre-roll?
I just threw it away. I'm not. I get drug tested for work.
Oh, okay, fair.
They might have been trying to kill her.
That's fair.
Yeah. What if they laced it?
The dealership was trying to get rid of her.
What if they laced it?
New conspiracy.
Tim would have
Anyway.
smoked it.
She seems like a druggie. She'll smoke it.
So
She'll do anything.
that was a whole side quest that did happen. But throughout my time working with Glue Stick, he was just consistently rude to me, not like he just had an inability to communicate. I don't need to know every step again of your like mechanic process, but I do need a good rationale for why you want me to pay you $1,200 to put a part in. You can't just say it's
the
the
part
computer
costs $1,200.
because yes.
Yeah.
I mean, which fair, but then when I ask what happens if this doesn't fix it,
Well,
you
he's
tell
never
me
he's never
that's
been
just-
asked that question
That's
before.
just the cost of the
It's
install.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like that's unacceptable to
Yeah.
me.
So these
Wait.
I know. I
Get
worked
to the best part.
I worked at a dealer for a long time. Not a long time. I worked at a dealer for like a year and a half.
The problem
Well,
is
that's a long time in dealer
It
time.
is. It is.
dealerships only do warranty work. As soon as they get outside of a warranty job, they just don't know how to handle it anymore.
Yeah. People don't ask these questions. The questions that you asked, they never get asked because people are just like, sell me a new
Okay.
car or okay.
There's only one brain cell firing in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the dealership and with the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
they,
I mean,
they,
I wanted to know, especially knowing what I knew from Dirt Nerds. I wanted to know why you want me to spend $1,200 on a part that, like, how did you rule out the transmission? That's really what
Yeah.
I was getting at,
So it's a
right?
valid question.
How did you rule that out? What was your diagnostic process? I think when I called Tom and Trevor, Tom was even like, what was their diagnostic process? And I was like, well, I can't tell you because they were just like $1,200 is what you need to pay.
We can't tell Stellantis we fucked it up.
Right.
yeah.
Well,
So,
because they didn't replace it the first time, so they got away with it
Allegedly.
allegedly. They got away with it the
Allegedly.
second time, but now they're panicked because they might actually have to warranty the transmission that they shouldn't have had to warranty. Yeah.
anyway, so Tom replaces the Tipum, right?
And
Calls-
I imagine they had a huge issue with that, with someone else working on it.
I do. Part of me feels bad because I do feel like that made this drag out longer, because I think they were salty about the fact that.
Because you interfere with their diagnostic process.
But I didn't.
No, we questioned theirs.
Yeah, and I think there was a point in this process where they, based on the question she was asking, was going, "Fuck, somebody who knows their shit is involved, and it's making our life difficult." And whatever service engineer at Stellantis is going, "The fuck do they know?" And the dealership's going,
Nothing.
the dealership's going, "I think they know what they're talking about," and Chrysler's going, "No,
can't
follow the process. Just go through the steps, and the next step in the checklist is check the Tipum." But there's really no easy way to check it other than does it function, and it was functioning in the fact that the relay clicked, so the Tipum is fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a hard thing to figure out. Like, the relay clicks, but there's not voltage going to the starter for whatever reason.
Anyway,
What was that whiskey conversation you just had?
oh,
Because we can't talk about whiskey and not.
I'm sorry.
Discuss
So
it.
I just gave Trevor the Apollo 15, which, so
Better than Apollo 13.
well,
Das Boom.
so
Everything's better than
there
Apollo
is,
13.
an
That
independent
blows my mind.
There's an independent bottler / whiskey company, a seller called the Whiskey Barrel, TWB.
Too soon.
TWB did this amazing space series. So This one, the Eagle has
all a
landed.
hoax.
Apollo 15, they have there's 17 different bottles of different moon landings, different space missions that they did a bottling for. So the one I just gave him is the Glenrothes 12-year-old, bottled in 2009. It's 62%, so it's very good, but it smells and tastes like
Communicating with whales over there?
caramel popcorn. Caramel popcorn. Heavy caramel popcorn.
It tastes or smells like popcorn.
Both. It is smells like caramel popcorn and very. I think the popcorn comes through on just the grain, right? Your barley, just that kind of maltiness, but heavy caramel and sugar. So it's a really fun dram.
It smells good, or it sounds good. I haven't smelled it yet.
Well, you want to try
Let
some?
me get another glass of water in me first.
Yes.
But if you'd like to pour it,
We're going to have
You
to
can
watch
let
that
it. You
now.
can totally let it sit. It is
Okay.
62%. So.
oh yeah, I'll let it sit. I appreciate
that's
it.
funny.
You're very nice for inviting us into your house.
You're a
and
nice lady. Thanks.
offering your whiskey collection
And your dog is
But I
adorable.
don't know anything.
and
about
telling us your sad story.
Well, you don't
of
know
your
anything about Jeeps.
Jeep
That's
ownership.
what we're for.
But continue your
All
story.
right, continue your story
Right. Okay. So.
and prove to us that Jeeps are the most unreliable vehicle sold in the
Sounds
United
great in the
States.
headphones.
Well, okay, so just side quest for a moment.
Another one.
Is this a whiskey
there's
side quest or a Jeep
no,
side
no,
quest?
a Jeep
Look,
one.
there's more.
So obviously I've posted about my Jeep troubles on Instagram along the way, and what's really sad is that so many people are like, "Oh, Jeep, so unreliable, LOL, Jeep."
I mean,
But
only
So-
part of this is the dealership's fault.
I venture to say that all of this is the dealership's fault.
Well, at some point,
Even if their initial diagnostic was wrong on the first transmission, it did still leave you stranded at the airport, and that's not the dealership's
Okay,
fault.
yes, I agree.
Their 10-cent clip is a known problem. Everybody has been left stranded by that part.
Agree, and I'm not disputing that at all. And I think that's just what you accept when you decide to buy a Wrangler.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
But all of this nearly year-long saga is human dealership error.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
So it's made me sad when people actually get a little bit of a wrong perspective about
Fair.
Wrangler ownership on social media.
Well, that's the point of this podcast.
Yes, because look, yeah, is it?
You got to take with the
Can
good
be a
with the
little
bad.
the way I described it to someone the other day is look, there's a long list of cons, certainly, and the list of pros might be a little shorter, but the relative weight of the pros
100%.
Oh, the serotonin boost? You get
Just-
taking the doors off?
just smashes the cons.
Yeah.
But, so another side quest on your side quest is I told Tom this. The first time I met you was at House 6 Brewery, and you had just bought your Jeep.
Yeah,
You bought it because your Bronco took too long to order. That is
Yep.
correct, right?
that is correct.
Tom didn't believe me when I told him that story.
I just hadn't heard that story. And if I did, I just didn't remember
so
it.
if the Bronco wouldn't have taken as long to order,
I'd be driving a two-door Bronco. What did I order? The Badlands edition.
Hell yeah, brother.
But you probably wouldn't have because
It
those
probably would've shit
did
the bed.
also actually have big
Yeah,
mechanical
they blew out the
issues.
motors, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Motors and transmission.
And steering racks,
Motors,
and
transmission,
suspension.
suspension.
The roofs were falling off, axle shafts.
Now that they've gotten all that figured out, though, they're pretty good.
Well, they're only pretty good because
No.
they're all fixed and
No.
the new ones aren't available yet because they're still building them.
Are the
Bingo.
tie rod ends still as
Yes.
big
Yes.
as my pinky?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also increasingly don't like the aesthetics of them, and I think it's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
because
the two doors get me going, though.
Yeah.
The two doors look good.
As
if
we
I
said
see
earlier,
a
they
four-door,
fuck.
Yeah,
if I see a four-door on the road,
Yeah, two doors fuck hard.
Anyway,
anyway, okay, all right. So
The sport's the worst.
I
So
call the dealership.
we'll talk about that later.
We will. I call a dealership. We get Blanton's, right? I said, do not
It's
transfer
refreshing.
me
it's better than eating glue.
to glue stick. Don't transfer me to him. I never want to talk to that guy again. And I know I haven't done a good job of relaying why he was so bad, but it's really just communication the way that I was treated
Yeah.
the whole time. I asked super
Simple.
simple and reasonable
So,
questions.
so what
that they
it's
couldn't
what it
ask.
seems like is you're a professional walking into a professional environment of a dealership, and they were not treating you like a professional.
Correct.
Yeah.
So take gender out of it altogether.
Yeah,
Is you show up to this
No,
place.
they treated Tom the same way, and my husband eventually.
You show
all like women.
you should
Really, they just hate your Jeep.
They just,
It's not you, it's
oh
your
wait,
Jeep.
I did. Spoiler alert! Get told that sometimes there's just Jeeps that dealerships get married to, and
They're
those
called
Jeeps
lemons.
just like
Yeah,
stay.
it's called a buyback program.
Those Jeeps just stay coming in and out of the shop, and that's just something that they deal with. So they did tell me that at some point.
Oh, so they
Wow.
admitted to being bad at
Wait.
their jobs.
They did.
When does the was it the service manager that drove it 2,000 miles or whatever?
Oh yes, but we're not there
We're
yet.
not there yet.
We're not there. What?
Yeah.
Oh, PJ.
We're 2 hours into this. How are we not there yet?
Speed this
Okay, we
Yeah.
gotta speed
It's
it
10
up.
o'clock.
Yeah. Oh shit, my wife
it
was
really?
right.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
shit.
My wife was
We'll let
right.
Kayla finish.
Yeah.
Okay, so whatever. I drop it back off, and I'm
Yikes.
like, look, I
Yikers.
replaced the tip-em. We replaced the starter. Like everything's been done. Okay, so that guy does not transfer me to Glue Stick. He's like, I'm gonna be
Blanton's.
on the Blanton's. It's like I'm gonna be on the case now, right? So I don't know. A week goes by. They can't replicate the problem.
No.
So then they call me and they say, well, we think it's the tip-em. And I was like, the one that was just replaced? And they're like, well, it wasn't seated properly. So we've reseated it, but we think it's the tip-em again, so we're going to put another one in it. And I was like, well, do I have to pay for that? I've already paid for one, and it came from your parts department. So they put a new tip-em in
For free?
at this time. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Well, because spoiler alert, didn't fix it.
It didn't fix it.
No.
And so, I mean, weeks go by at this point, and there are calls back and forth. So here's my biggest problem. Like, I don't care if you don't have a solid update for me on like, hey, we found the problem or this, but 4 or 5 days cannot go by where you don't call and say, hey, we're still diagnosing. Hey, we can't figure it out.
You just need an update. You
I-
need something.
need
Hey,
something.
hey, we're working on it. We
And-
haven't forgotten
yeah.
about you. It's not sitting
Correct.
untouched.
So, because I think I was pissed off even more because my vehicle runs. I can get from A to B. I can go to work. I don't have to take the metro and get assaulted on the metro, which did happen during all this time, right? I don't have to do that. I could take my vehicle to work and back. As long as it sits for 15, 20 minutes, the bitch is fine. So,
Well, you're rocking and it gets to going again.
it made me even more angry that it's just sitting there and I don't know what you're doing. And so
They don't know what they're doing. That
they
was the
don't.
problem.
Yeah. And
They
so
were waiting to be told what to do. Because at this point, I think that this was the point where they told you they had brought Chrysler into it.
Yes. So I don't know. There's so many phone calls, but I finally was like, look, someone has got to figure out what is wrong with this vehicle. So we get transferred at this time to the service manager who's taking on the case, right? Service manager was like, we have literally a NASA engineer working on it over the weekend.
Well, it's not a spaceship, so let's bring it back down to Earth.
Why don't we get a Jeep engineer instead of a rocket scientist?
No, the guy was like, literally, the guy's like a rocket scientist. He's the best we have. He's coming in over the weekend to diagnose it.
Another plot twist, service engineers are just retired technicians. I'm not kidding.
So,
I've never even heard of a service engineer before.
This guy doesn't work for Stellantis and or this named Jeep dealership, but Holtz from Ashburn?
Yeah.
God,
what
I
he does
lost
for Kia.
Trevor.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Trevor, I like
You have
talked
to
to you
finish
the
your
whole
story.
time.
Well,
Anyway.
he was distracting you too much.
Fine, he was. But anyway, okay, so they say it's a tip-em. They put another tip-em in it. Like, I don't know. There's several phone calls and exchanges that go back and forth. They're like, we can't figure it out. At one point, the service manager calls Giuseppe and says, yeah, we still can't figure out what's wrong. Honestly, I want to put I thought about putting extended warranty on this thing
wild.
and driving it off a cliff. So that's something that they said to us. And like, LOL.
That's
really
so funny.
not
It's still
funny.
my fucking car, and I'm
So
still
wild.
making payments on it while it's at your dealership.
Until tonight, I really thought that was something you told them.
No,
And like,
Dude, that would infuriate me.
the
that's
service manager.
so wild to me.
Because I assume you're still making payments on it.
It's paid off.
Okay, but at the time you may have been making payments on it. I guess no. At the time it was a few weeks ago.
I am
but
still,
still.
yeah.
yeah. You could have been still
Could
making
have been
payments on it.
easily making
and it's a
payments.
nice Jeep, and those payments would have been $600-700 a month. You're making $700 a month payment, and someone tells you they want to drive it off a cliff from the dealership.
Yeah.
I'd fucking set that place on fire.
Well, when you know it's the work that they already did,
Yeah.
right? Like at this
We
point,
knew it's the transmission the whole damn
at this
time.
point, it's on its third tip-em, and it's like, maybe it's not the tip-em, guys. That leaves the.
Well, we thought it left the transmission. So, again, there were several phone calls back and forth. The service manager at one point did tip
Wait,
his
are we
hand.
still on the second transmission?
Third.
Third total transmission.
Okay.
Second
Oh,
one
okay.
they've
Second one they
installed.
put in.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And so at one point, the service manager is talking to Giuseppe and is like, I am leaning towards, and he was very vague, I am leaning towards what your shop said was wrong when you brought it in. And I was like, we're on the speaker phone, right? And I was like, what do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean by what they thought was wrong?
Say it, bitch.
I said,
Say it.
The transmission. And he was like, well, yeah, I'm thinking that could be it. So that conversation does happen at some point. I think I called Trevor right after that. We relay it. And then the next day, though, I get a call from the service manager, and he says, actually, it's the TCM. We're 100%
The
sure.
transmission control module.
Transmission control module. He says, we're 100% sure.
With
And
like the Jewish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100% sure.
This is going to fix the problem.
He was like, but we need a couple days to be sure.
We're 100% sure, but
This is where it starts to get real interesting.
So it's the TCM, and they're 100% sure. He said that. That's a quote.
but
But they need 3 or 4 days to be certain. And at this point, they have Chrysler engineers working on it. They're
not,
hooked
so,
up to...
so the rocket scientist is gone.
The rocket scientist is gone.
Even he couldn't figure it out.
The rocket scientist said it was the TCM.
Jesus Christ.
The TIPM. And so now we have Chrysler engineers.
Feel bad
in.
for those rockets.
We're hooked up
Why
to
do they keep
we're
blowing
hooked
up?
up to Stellantis computers. I don't know, whatever's happening. We're live streaming data to Stellantis.
Hell yeah,
I guess.
brother.
We're FaceTiming Stellantis engineers, whatever. And so we've arrived at the TCM. They're 100% sure,
but not.
But they need to confirm.
but they need 3 or 4 days to confirm. So.
All the
I
while-
have, by the way, exited communication with the service manager at this point. I just can't.
It's just me talking.
It's just Giuseppe. They call me. Well, the times they called me, I'm working. Look, someone's got to pay for this whiskey collection. Okay, all right. I'm
and
working.
these Jeep repairs.
And these fucking Jeep repairs.
Yeah, Giuseppe's just the good looks.
I
I
don't
mean,
have time for this shit.
Just the beard.
Okay, so, magically, the next Monday rolls around, and we get a call, and they're like, so, we're replacing the
Spoiler.
transmission.
so it's not the TCM.
It was not the TCM.
But they were 100%.
They were 100% sure.
They were so
Tim.
sure they definitely replaced it, but they were afraid to tell you that they were replacing it.
I wonder if they programmed flash that thing and left it in there and just said, hey, just ate it.
Pretty much, yeah.
So they were 100% sure it was a TCM, but magically by Monday, we're getting a warranty transmission.
Wow, I'm dizzy now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is months. So, I mean, I dropped it off. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's now June. You got it back early May because you got it back right before we left from.
Oh shit, this
no,
is like
I got it back while you were in Moab.
All right, so you dropped.
this is like now.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
isn't like this
So-
happened a few years
yeah,
ago.
so
this
the-
shit is fresh.
Fresh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Fresh.
so
That's why
we
it
were
was so
still
spicy.
we were still in the old shop when it got dropped off
Fresh
the
as
last
fuck,
time.
yo.
So that would have been end of March, early April
Yeah.
is when you dropped it off last, and you got it back the end of May.
Yeah. So, by the way,
Fuck.
this goes
Yeah.
back to or Trevor's spoiler earlier. They
So we're
put
still-
1,800 miles on my Jeep trying to replicate the problem.
That's not even all the way to Moab. You're good. It could use a few more.
Yeah, but in that 1,800 miles, they managed to lock up a brake caliper.
Yeah.
And they fixed that.
No.
Oh.
DirtNerds fixed it.
Guess what the quote was?
$3,000.
What? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, wait, but let's get to why we even figured out we needed brakes. Okay. So they call.
We are laughing.
How
Wait,
have you
Tim.
not burnt this place to the fucking ground?
What do you think we're doing right now?
Wait, Tim.
Part of the whole brake situation.
Okay, wait.
They tell her the Jeep is ready, but it failed safety inspection
Wait, but-
for brakes.
Did you
Hold
did you
on,
want
hold
to go?
on.
Okay, tell
Hold
your
on.
story.
And they
What-
scraped the
Hold on.
sticker.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. So they call.
literally
They
tearing up
say we have to replace your transmission, and I was like, okay. Well, actually, I think this might be why they were still 100% sure on the TCM. I said, hey, my registration runs out tomorrow. I have not been able to renew my registration on my vehicle because I can't take it to get emissions and inspection because you've had it for 2 months. And they were like, oh, we can do that for you. While we're testing the TCM some more.
Yeah.
Cool. Monday rolls
They'd already
around.
scraped the sticker. They're like, yes!
Monday rolls around, they call, they say, you're getting a new transmission. We got to put transmission in. I was like, wow, novel. Okay. And they're like, and we did the emissions, but you failed the safety inspection. I was like, excuse me, what?
They didn't. I would.
Excuse me, what? And they were like, yeah, like, you've got, like, in the front, there's, like, your brakes, something's going on with those. Like, your rotors are bad, your calipers are stuck, you need new
Verbatim?
calipers.
Verbatim?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
This is what they said to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need
Fuck that place.
You need new calipers. You need new rotors. You need new brakes. You need new lines. They were like,
tail
we
light's not
can't.
bright enough.
Oh, the luminosity test! The luminosity test!
So I also failed safety inspection because my driver's rear brake
Specifically.
light, specifically driver's
Did you
rear.
change the housings?
Wait. We told you this earlier in the story, so here's your plot
Full
connection.
circle.
Callback. My callback is gone.
Okay, so they said my rear driver's brake light. Well, this brakes are only whatever. Anyway, the driver's brake light didn't pass the luminosity test. Something's going on with the wiring harness, and I was like, "You mean the one that you replaced
3 years ago?
Than a year ago? The wiring harness that you replaced." You did the work
Are they
on.
gaslighting? Is it just gaslighting you at this point?
That was my favorite conversation to have that day.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
I was like,
conversation to have
the
that
wiring harness that you redid, and by the way, my brake lights looked fucking fine.
What the fuck is a luminosity?
Well, the best part
It's
is...
fake.
Yeah, well, that's the best part. So, as our listeners may know, Matt, who was on Moab trip with us, happens to be a state inspector and happens to be the state inspector at the shop next door to us.
I went and talked to him.
So we went, Matt, have you ever done a luminosity test on a taillight? And he went, oh, what? That's not a real thing. And we're like, okay, you too. Got it. Thanks.
So
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
the craziest thing is, these state inspectors do not realize that their code book is available to everyone online.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
called out so many state
We
inspectors.
hand it out to people.
Oh
Yeah.
no! So I've called out so
Willingly.
many state inspectors with their code book, and I said, "You should have a code book. Where's your code book? Go to this section, this section. I don't have one on me. Then fucking pass the test because you don't have a code book. And I just challenged you with the code book, and you are wrong." And then they find something else stupid and fail you on
To
that.
be fair, be fair,
no fair.
you
I'm
you
a code.
were an inspector.
I
It's
am an
just-
inspector. I am a
did-
code inspector for a living.
But it's you
Inspector
know more than the
Gadget.
layperson.
Yeah.
Be fair.
Well, that's why we're educating people.
We also get into that with state inspectors,
All-
but that's why we hand out codes to people.
VSP.gov has the entire Virginia...
I'm gonna
you,
come.
you talked about your blood pressure being up earlier.
Okay.
Tim's
So-
blood pressure's through the
so-
fucking
so-
roof right now.
Well, this is all new to him.
Side note: all publicly enforceable code. That
Is
code
public.
is available online. It is
Yeah.
publicly enforceable code because the code is public.
Correct.
What?
No, yeah.
But yes, the quote
Anyway,
was
okay, back-
$3,000 for
back to
free.
the luminosity test.
Yeah, so
Getting the luminosity test.
the luminosity test.
Okay, so I call
With the harness that they've
That
already
must have been the
replaced.
NASA engineer that was doing your state inspection.
Because this is how we got them to pass her for her taillights.
Wait! I haven't called you yet.
Yeah, we don't have the Jeep
Yeah.
yet.
You don't have the Jeep
Stop
yet.
mansplaining, Trevor.
Let the woman talk. Go back to sitting on the couch.
Oh my god, don't. Anyway, so I immediately called Tom and Trevor, and I was just like, my Jeep failed inspection. And I don't know why, because when I left it with them... Wait, no, you guys dropped it off. I hadn't even touched it.
Yeah.
In months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
It drove fine. The brakes were fine.
Yeah.
By the way, when they criticized they said, brakes, calipers, all that. The the first transmission install, they told me my brake fluid was discolored in the brake lines, and they recommended brake flush
For $250.
And I was like, yeah, fuck it, do it. I don't care. Just give my Jeep back. Like, finish it and let me get it back. So they were the last people to touch my brakes. They were the last ones to touch my
So they
brakes.
flushed it and then locked up a caliper while they were flushing
Well-
it.
Well, no, the flush was 6 months prior.
During the first
Yeah.
transmission
How
mishap.
many miles are in your Jeep?
Now? Well,
87.
actually, my oil change light is on, so I'll be seeing you guys in just a bit. So we're at 87.
Damn it!
Does your mileage match the sticker on your windshield?
No.
Is it higher or lower?
The sticker's 87-ish, 88.6 or something, and
Yeah.
I have 86.8 or
We
something.
probably forgot to reset it. Just drive to the mileage.
Wait, yes, I know that.
Is it-
That's why I haven't called you yet.
Is it a
She's talking about it now.
is it
The
a
oil
Dirt Nerd
change light
sticker?
came on several days ago.
That's fine. It
Is
could
it
be
a
like
Dirt Nerd sticker?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, it's your sticker.
Oh, okay.
PJ forgot to
You're
reset
the
your oil.
only people that actually.
I think I
touch-
did the last one. I probably forgot to reset the light.
That's all PJ was going
It's
for.
fine. I'm
It was me.
approximately.
I'm the problem.
I'm approximately 1,200-ish miles out from an oil change.
Cool.
I will
We'll
call
schedule
you
in a
soon.
month. Yeah.
Well, actually, I have to go to Pittsburgh and anyway.
She's getting a tattoo.
So
we
3
talked
days.
about that.
Anyway.
Okay. So shit.
ADD.
We should. This is fun. We should record more podcasts, Kayla.
So they failed your
Where was
inspection.
he?
You need brakes.
Okay, wait, yes. So yeah, the brakes, all that. So they tell Giuseppe it's gonna be $3,000 to just do the front.
Pads, calipers,
They're doing.
rotors, and
They're just
lines.
replacing the whole axle.
But
I
they should
wondered
be
if
for that
it
price.
was like a Ferrari. Like, oh, did I all of a sudden? Well, that's not.
This is the
an upgrade for me,
shittiest
but-
Ferrari you've ever driven.
Well, see, while we're in
the
there,
beauty of that is, even at Ferrari, that would not cost $3,000.
Amazing.
no. See, it was with the $3,000 brake job. You were getting a complimentary transmission.
Oh yes.
That's why the
Oh.
brake job was $3,000.
It was 100% me trying to subsidize
Yeah.
the hole they've dug themselves.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I felt. So I was like, I'll be picking it up later today. Like, thanks. And they're like, but you couldn't pass inspection. I was like, yeah, I'll drive it to Dirt Nerds. Like, let someone give me a ticket. I don't care. They did put a gigantic
rejection sticker.
failed inspection sticker on my windshield.
Those
Matt-
are the fucking worst.
My favorite thing about Matt was those fucking dicks put a rejection sticker on it. We're like, long story, dude. We'll tell you later. But yeah,
Massive. It was gigantic.
Oh, they're huge.
Yeah.
they do it on purpose. But yeah.
So, by the way, it had no fuel in it when I picked it up. Like, none.
Oh,
None.
they still didn't put fuel in
Yeah,
it.
I
Well,
only,
no, they did put fuel in it when they asked for it.
But they
just-
also drove
They
it
also ran it out of
1,800
fuel
miles.
again.
So part of their diagnostic process wasn't to put more fuel in it.
Well, no, they would have had to because they legitimately drove it over. It's more than 1,800.
Yeah.
Because we pulled your last mileage from when we did the Tip'em,
Yeah.
which was halfway through this process, and it was over 2,000 miles less than what was on it when it was in for brakes.
I'm literally going to produce this episode and email it to the dealer owner.
Please.
I'm going to email it to the dealer owner.
Yeah.
I can find his contact.
Yeah.
It's like
Everyone in that department's going to get fired.
No.
This is fucking
No,
ridiculous.
no. So I
You
would
sent
preface
it
this.
to him and go, can you find any other discrepancies
So-
in this episode? Please, please let us know.
Blanton's should be the service manager. He should be promoted because there was a point in this whole process that Trevor and I were at Cane's getting lunch.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like, I'm waiting in line at Raising Cane's to get our chicken tenders, and Trevor walks back in. He goes, "You're gonna have to hop on that call." And I was like, "Why?" He goes, "It's Kayla and the dealership." I was like, "Ooh, this will be fun." Food's under my name. Pick it up. And I go out in the parking lot, and it's Kayla and Blanton's, and I will literally walk through our entire process, and he goes, "Yep, that sounds about right. That's the information we needed. Thank you." And I can hear in his voice going, "This is what we've been fucking telling him." Like, I truly do think there was somebody there at the dealership that said, "This is what is wrong," and nobody was willing to pony up and say the transmission that we shouldn't have put in the first place is bad. And instead of just tucking the tail and just fixing it and going, "Our bad, warranty part, put the part in and be done with it," they drag it out for what,
A year,
Months.
almost. Almost a year.
They didn't want to call Stellantis and be like,
Yeah.
we need another approval on
Another one.
Yeah.
transmission.
Yeah.
So I go and pick up my vehicle, and I am like, within driving it off the lot. I mean, it drives like shit. I showed up at your shop furious. Like, I slammed the door. I walk in, and I was like, my Jeep has never driven this bad, ever.
They beat it.
They beat the shit
2,000 miles of just. I mean, you could tell
Dogging
they
it.
just drove the shit out of the thing.
They fucking dogged it.
I guarantee, service manager, whoever, was driving it every day.
They
drove it home.
Yeah.
No,
They drove it home.
I don't drive 2,000 miles. Like I have a 60-mile round trip commute, and I don't cover 2,000 miles in a month.
Yeah, no, they drove it. They drove it to their house every day.
And they drove it into
they
the
drove like
ground.
6 hours every day.
Into the ground. I mean, it's never driven that bad. Even when I bought it before Dirt Nerds replaced all of the suspension, everything.
Yeah.
Tires.
I think we ended up doing.
They should have complimentary replaced the fucking head.
Yeah,
They should have.
Yeah.
They really
should have.
They really should. Like, I mean, at that
Honestly,
point,
they should have retroactively given me some warranty, bumper to bumper, for that, because they had it
so-
for
Well,
several
the nice
months.
thing is your transmission is warranty for the next 100,000 miles.
It is. I can't wait
the
to
problem
go back
is
to
we
them.
can't service it.
Yes.
But and that's like at the end of the day, we have screwed things up. We've made mistakes, and ancillary shit from your mistake is still your fault. If you have to put 2,500 miles on a vehicle to test drive it because you can't go through the electrical diagnostic process on your own, like, all that wear is on you. Like, is there a way to recoup some costs and ask the customer, hey, because we couldn't figure it out, we had to drive it this much, do you mind splitting this repair? Like, there's ways to do it that don't make you look like a moron.
Yeah, but the dealer doesn't need customer service because of the dealer, and they're the all-knowing being. They're the omnipresent.
Yeah.
They're the best.
But it's also like I've made this comment before about dealerships in general. The people, the customer facing people at the dealership have never been a technician.
No.
It used to be you were a tech, you became a good tech, you wanted to make more money, so you became a service advisor. Like, so the person you were talking to at some point was working on a vehicle and can explain things, understands what's happening, and you have that conversation. Service advisors are now just nothing but salespeople. And
And they're good salespeople. They're really good salespeople.
Right. But when they're tasked with having to do something or answer a question technically, they don't know what to say, and the technicians, the quality of technician has gone downhill to the point where those guys can't talk to a customer. You can't put a technician on a phone unless they're a great technician.
Well, so
I could put PJ on a phone. He doesn't want to be on the phone.
Yeah, PJ is very
PJ
personable.
would talk to me, though,
I would strangle most of our customers.
but not me.
PJ,
That's the
PJ,
problem.
this is recording.
PJ sends me memes all the time. We're
PJ's
good.
got anxiety.
Oh, you're on his
it's
meme list?
fine.
You're on his friend list? Okay.
I'm on
The,
his
the,
meme list.
the best part is
You can add me to your meme list
Okay.
because
we
I love
fixed-
memes.
We fixed the brakes, and my favorite part is we performed our own luminosity test by having
let's get her done.
by having Matt and Justin, licensed state inspectors, come over, and I went, "Can you perform a luminosity test?" And they went, "Sure."
It is luminous.
And we turned and we pushed
It
down
illuminated.
the brake. We pushed down the brake pedal and they went, "Yep, that illuminates." And we took it next door, and wouldn't you know it, it fucking passed. What a goddamn
But the
shocker!
dealership
have to
didn't
do full
fix
brakes.
it. Well, no, yeah. So that's it. In their defense, their diagnostic of the brakes was correct. You
The
did
only thing that was correct.
You did have locked up calipers.
They just
the difference
forgot
is
to mention it was their fucking fault.
they are the ones that drove it till the calipers locked up.
I cannot express enough.
Because the last person to drive it was you.
Yeah,
I cannot express
it was
enough.
not locked up.
You guys
After-
also said that it going up and down on the lift could really fuck with the lines too.
Oh yeah,
You will, yeah. So that was the lines can get stretched and pinched, like we see it all the time. But yeah, that's
Again, after all of this shenanigans, I cannot express enough how good the parts department is at that dealership.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got so much inside information from them.
I love
that's
the
how
parts
that's how we
department.
knew what to tell you.
I love.
Yeah.
I
We're not
love.
that good. We had an inside guy.
I love the guys that we.
Not good.
I love the guys that we deal with because they're awesome.
I think
And-
I know who you dealt with.
and
I think
it's-
I've met him before.
It was one of those things where
There's only two of them.
But
There's
that
two
was
guys. in
that
the
was
parts
part of
department.
this whole process. Was the communication between me and Kayla was always let me talk to the guys that we deal with on a regular basis, almost every single day.
Yeah.
we're on the phone with them, and they were able to tell us these are the diagnostic notes. This is what we're seeing.
Yeah.
This is why they
because
ordered
they're seeing
this
all
part.
the internal stuff.
And so
So we knew it was all
we're
bullshit.
communicating. There are literally no notes. There is just an order for XYZ part. That's it. So clearly something was going on in there where somebody at some level was going, just fucking do it.
You know how
the best part for me was when they told her that, oh, if we had done the tip 'em and it didn't fix the problem, we wouldn't have charged you for the tip 'em.
Oh.
To which I told her, you better go get a $1,200 check from that dealership for the tip 'em we replaced and charged you for, because that's horse shit that they didn't answer your question initially about what happens when this doesn't fix the problem, and you tell them after the fact, oh, someone else put a tip 'em in for you and they charge you? Oh, we would have done that for free if it didn't fix the problem.
Someone, and they got the tip 'em from your dealership.
100% they would have charged. But that's
dude, I'm so sorry.
that's their baseline of like, oh, we're gonna come out the good guys here because your shop charged you. We wouldn't have charged you.
You got to remember, every employee in that building is paid on commission.
Yeah.
So they will do everything they can to not do something for free. Because if they do it for free, they don't get paid on that ticket.
One interesting point in the back and forth during this multi-transmission
Debacle.
saga, at some point when I was talking to Blanton's, several days had gone by without any
Sorry,
update.
I just thought the whiskey. I'm like, you were talking to Blaine's? Hell
And
yeah.
I called and I was like, what the heck? I just need an update. Like, what is going on? And he was like, well, we can't push the techs too hard, because if we push them too hard, they might leave, and we have an employee retention problem, and so we have to be really careful of
Can't
how
imagine
we
why.
talk to our techs. And I was just
That's
like,
the most honest thing anybody said to you through the entire process.
I mean, it's honest, but at the same time, your employee retention and happiness isn't my problem.
You sure you weren't talking?
Oh my god, PJ.
Edit.
Mark it.
Mark that.
God damn, we've been going for almost 3 hours.
And,
You have a lot to
for the
cut.
record, PJ, he's had the same 2 technicians for like the last 5 years.
Master technicians.
Everybody else is left.
To be fair, when PJ's going too slow, I go outside in the shop and I throw firecrackers at him.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that works.
Look, we knew
Where
this.
was I with that?
I mean, I told you this was a saga,
Yeah,
and
Fuck.
it truly
this is
is.
like Lord of the
It's
Rings
not
with
a-
Jeep
it's not a
stories.
saga. It's a Greek odyssey.
So
Yeah,
on-
for real.
Not that I work in the automotive industry right now, but on behalf of the repair automotive industry,
I hate to break it to you.
I
We've gotten
apologize.
paid for the podcast before. You work in the automotive industry.
But I apologize. That's fucking
Wait,
horrible.
can I tell you my favorite part of all of it?
Us.
Yay!
Okay, yes. Aside from the fact that Dirt Nerves is the best.
That's the whiskey. Just happy that's the whiskey.
Okay, so fast forward, Dirt Nerds has fixed my brakes. I've passed inspection. Great. I'm driving it back and forth to work for several weeks. I still haven't heard like when the fuck the transmission is going to be here.
Wait, as of today, it's still not fixed.
No.
with
Wait,
the
wait.
transmission?
As of today, we have it
Okay.
fixed. We
As
have
of
it
3 weeks ago.
Okay.
2.
Oof.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's only been 2 weeks since
It's
we
only
went
been
back.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
But when it came for the brakes, it had not been.
It had not been fixed. I just literally picked it up, took it straight to their shop, and was like, just
So
fix,
you,
fix it.
after it got dropped off with us, after we got back from Moab, when you guys did the brakes.
No,
No, we did the brakes and the inspection
Before you went
before
to
Moab.
Moab.
Okay.
Okay, so
While she
then
was waiting for the new transmission.
So, but then you had to go back to that same dealership and drop it back off in their
Yes.
trusted hands.
But here's the thing. So they
For
were
the
like,
transmission.
it's going to take a while for the transmission to come in. Hopefully we'll have an ETA for you the next Monday. So I go immediately drop it off. It takes you guys, I don't know,
A day?
Monday. Well,
Day and a
I
half?
drop it off on Friday. So like
Yeah.
Monday you have the brakes done. I go, I pick it up. Mondays when the dealership's supposed to also let me know the ETA on the transmission, nothing. I was like, fuck it, whatever. I don't care. It drives back and forth to work. We'll be fine. So drive it back and forth to work for a week. I still hear nothing. Over the weekend, that following week, to my spam folder, the parts guy sends me an email that says your parts are in. Transmission cooler, whatever is on this sheet here. The parts list with the what were we calling the service manager?
That's giving me
Great
PTSD.
Poupon.
Grey Poupon CC'd. And that goes to my spam because I don't often get emails from.
The question, would you like us?
Oh, my favorite part, and I didn't screenshot this and send it to you, but it was
Oh.
like, your
leave
parts are in. If we need to install them, please schedule an appointment. And I was like, wait, can I come and pick up the transmission?
Oh, wait.
Please?
That was an option. We could have fixed this
That's
6 months
an
ago if that
option?
was an option.
Anyway, so I was like, well, surely they'll call me by the next Monday. They've come in over the weekend. Nothing. I was like, okay, I'll give them Tuesday. I've been too nice. I have.
You have been.
Tuesday,
You should
nothing.
set this place on fire.
Finally,
Tim, you can't
Wednesday,
say that, but you're right.
No. Giuseppe calls
yeah, I
4
called him.
times. And he gets sent to, not voicemail, but it was just like,
my fucking number.
it seemed like his number had been blocked. So I finally call. They don't answer for me, but I get a text message from Blanton's that says, I see you tried to call. I'm with a customer. I will call you back later.
That's fair.
5 p.m. rolls around.
I'll give Plans benefit of the doubt.
Nothing. So,
Because he doesn't want to deal with it either. It's not his
I get
fire
it.
to put out.
well, we call
But
again.
it is. He's a service manager.
No.
No.
Plans
Plans
is another
isn't the
advisor.
Yeah.
He's the second advisor involved. Grey Poupon
So-
is the manager.
So it's
That's why
almost
he's Grey
6
Poupon is
o'clock.
fancy.
It's almost 6 o'clock. They close at 7. Giuseppe calls again, and he was like, look, we got an email that says the parts are in. And he's talking to the service manager, the Grey Poupon.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, what the fuck? The parts came in last Saturday. We have an email showing they came in. When are you putting the transmission in? He said, this is my favorite part, Tim, for you. He's like, can you have it here by tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.? We say, yeah, sure. So drop it off in the evening, right? Put my key in the little drop box. I just put my name on the envelope because at this point,
They know you.
you would think they know me.
The,
Right?
the worst part
The
is,
Jeep's been
Wait,
a
wait.
permanent employee at the fucking dealership.
Yeah. My Jeep should be collecting wages for, working there, okay?
Employee of the month.
Employee of the month. All right. So I drop it off. I'm like, cool. Things are great. My alarm goes off at 7:30 every morning because my dog gets her seizure meds at 7:30. I'm laying in bed. 7:45 a.m. I get a phone call.
bring, bring, bring,
Ring,
bring.
ring. I was like, and it's from this dealership, which we've already named.
Hello, this is Grey Poupon.
No. It's somebody that picked up my key out of the box, and they were like,
Hey, why is this here?
yes. They said, hi, I see that you dropped your Jeep off, and I have the key. Why did you drop it off? I'm sorry, what? I was like, you told me to? And he said, what are we supposed to be doing today? And I was like, installing
Driving
a
it off a cliff.
transmission.
Have like
And he
Driving it
said-
off a cliff.
He said, oh. And I was like, wow, interesting, because your manager told us to have it there by 7 a.m. And he said, wow, he's the one that told me to call you and ask why you dropped it off.
I hope you're not brand loyal, because I would never buy another fucking Jeep again. I hope this is your last one.
Well, it's going to run forever. So.
It better run forever.
It's got another 100,000 mile warranty.
I am, dude.
100,001. The transmission's going to just explode.
full LS3.
And then we're doing an LS swap. We get
Sold.
new trans and new motor.
Sold.
Done. Yeah, so I was like, well, you're doing a transmission install. And so this is probably, I don't know. We dropped
Look
it.
at
This
me.
is Thursday. So Friday rolls around. We've heard nothing. And we're going into Memorial Day weekend.
When
And
I
was-
turned the shop phone back on, I had like 7 text messages from Kayla.
So we're going to Memorial Day weekend. I've heard nothing. It takes
Memorial
four-
Day weekend, like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
It takes 4 phone calls.
Yeah, this
I finally get Blanton's, and Blanton's was like, so I can't give you an update. And I was like, what do you mean you can't give me an update? Like, where are you at in the install? Like,
parts are in the vehicles
is
there.
the transmission in or out, or like, is it on? Like, what
are you working on it
stage
only
are
on
we
your
in?
lunch breaks? Like,
And he was like, well,
It needs brakes.
I can't. I can't
headlights
give
out.
you an update on where we're at in the transmission install. And I was just like, I don't understand. Is the old transmission out, and we're like approaching putting the
just
new
tell
one
me
in?
you
Like,
haven't started it yet.
yeah.
Like,
so
how
they
hard is it to be
totally
honest?
had never even started the transmission install. Because if you remember, the second transmission that they put in, they did it in like a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's because it was already in.
Well, anyway. so
Oh, we did it!
I was like, where's the service manager? And he's like, oh, we can't find him. And I'm like, that dude's a fucking
Check the
coward. I
glizzies.
literally told-
Check the
I told
glizzies.
Blanton's on the phone. I was like, your service manager's a fucking coward.
Yeah.
So Anyway, he's like, I hope I can give you an update.
Did you guys leave a Google review?
Not yet.
Please.
We wanted to do this podcast first.
Fair.
So,
You can link the podcast to the Google review. Seriously, attach the link.
I have a theory that we'll discuss off air on why
okay,
we can't
we're
do that.
almost at the end
I don't
of
fucking
my
care.
Oh,
tale, and then you guys can do the wrap up. But, okay, so this is Memorial Day
The wrap
weekend.
up.
It's got to be a 3-part episode.
Fuck. This is one part. We're going Joe Rogan on this one.
Okay, so look, Saturday, he was like, I hope I can give you an update by Saturday, but I am not sure. I'm not sure.
That was my
And so-
favorite email that you screenshotted.
Oh my God, we're getting there. So Saturday rolls around, 5 o'clock comes, I hear nothing. And I'm pissed because here I am going into Memorial Day weekend, like with no communication. And I did have plans. So
It's
like
beautiful, and you want to take the doors and top off your Jeep and run around.
I do, but I also could have been prepared to rent a vehicle to do the things I needed to do. Like, I mean, I had plans. We're down to one vehicle. It's just inconvenient, right? I need to at least be like, just communicate with me and tell me we haven't fucking started it, so I can go rent a car for the weekend. And I did ask about a loaner several times, and they were just like, yeah, we don't have any. So
Fucking, oh my God.
Monday rolls around. Obviously, everyone's on holiday. Nothing. So I was like, I'm not going to bother them on Monday because no one's open. Tuesday rolls around. I was like, certainly they'll call me Tuesday. Nothing. Wednesday rolls around. 4 o'clock. We have to call. This is Wednesday after. And I didn't call yet. This is when I sent the message. So I was pissed. I'm at work. I'm
This
in
is literally
DC.
us recovering from the Moab
Yeah,
trip.
you
That's
guys
how
are
recent
recovering
this
from
is.
Moab.
Like, I'm
And
texting her at home from the work phone.
I send an email to Grey Poupon, and I vented my frustration over not being like, number one, you asked why I even dropped off my Jeep. Number two, you left me stranded over a holiday weekend with no communication on what was going on. I could have made other plans. I could have rented a vehicle. Like, I could have planned to do, like, for my life. And I couldn't because you can't even pick up the phone and say, hey, we're not done
This is
yet.
what's going on, yeah.
Here's what's going on. And he apologized with lots of misspellings. And my favorite was the origin concern.
Yeah.
Wait, I should just show Tim. I'll show you the email train in a moment.
Yeah, it's good.
And so
entertaining.
this is Wednesday, and he was like, well, the transmission's in. So he confirms that they've installed the transmission, but they're not sure if they can make sure the origin concern, not original, origin concern.
I forgot about that.
It's more like Oregon concern.
Because
Has
Oregon
been,
would spell
The Oregon
wrong also.
concern.
yeah,
Yeah.
has been
You have died of
Address.
dysentery.
So, he was like, here are your options. You can come pick it up, or you can give us until Friday.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah. You can give us until Friday to test drive it.
Wednesday.
I'm sorry, why do you need 2 more days?
Please return it with a full tank of gas.
Well, somebody
Like,
was
oh,
trying
they
to-
And
very
wash.
much did not. Anyway, so
Fully detailed.
I'm texting.
No.
I texted the shop. I texted the shop phone and I was just like, I don't know what to do here. Part of me wants my vehicle back because I think as long as the transmission is healthy, this has fixed the problem. I also drive down Constitution to go to work, and I don't want to take the risk of picking up my vehicle and getting stranded in front of the fucking White House on Thursday.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair.
That would be quite inconvenient. Secret Service would be a little pissed off about that too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no one's going to be
Yeah,
happy.
the mountains, real suspicious.
No one's happy in this situation. And so I write him back and I said, look, I was able to ask my boss to work from home tomorrow. You have until whatever day it was, like tomorrow, to test drive it. I get an email back that's like, I'm driving it right now, and then you can pick it up. And I was like, well, can you clarify, I'm picking up today or I'm picking up tomorrow? I don't understand. And he was like, let's do tomorrow. I need him to run more tests. I don't know who him is. We don't know who
It's the
who is
NASA
him.
engineer.
Unsure.
They brought NASA back into it.
Unsure who him is, but him needs to run more tests.
All I know is I'll never be him.
Ever. So the next day rolls around, I hear literally nothing. 2 o'clock comes, and Blanton's calls me, and he's like, hey, Miss Amodeo. They call me Miss Amodeo, which I just like really fight the urge to be like, it's actually Dr. Amodeo. But anyway,
You do that to absolutely nobody except for them, right?
I feel like I should.
Yeah, you should.
But I didn't. Anyway, he's like, Miss Amodeo, your vehicle's actually been out here ready since 9 a.m. Wondering why you haven't picked it up.
What?
I'm sorry. Your service manager was just test driving it, like, in my email, and said he was
15 minutes ago.
yeah, said he was test driving it, and he needed him to do more tests.
I need him.
I'm pretty sure I texted Trevor and was
brought
like, "Who is him?"
They brought their boy JC in.
Oh, I also messaged PJ, and it was like, I was like, PJ, who is him?
That's the name of the episode. It's Who Is Him, comma, Whiskey and Slander.
Who is him?
You know what the irony is? The text name is probably Jesus.
Jesus Emmanuel Mendez. Him.
Anyway, so look,
Emmanuel's E.
I go pick it up. Everyone scatters. Everyone scatters. I walk in, and like the person who like checks people
Is this
out
when
was,
you're like full bodybuilder, just jacked as shit, ripping him in half?
Yeah, I'm in like, you know, what, it was like some sports tank top, and I like walk in.
Like with a
Give
fresh
me my
pump.
keys.
I mean, I don't remember.
Sorry, puppy.
Snorting the pre-workout.
But I walked in and was just like, everyone scatters. The service manager saw me, U-turned, went in his office, and shut his door.
I'd have hollered at him.
And so then that leaves Blanton's.
Hey!
Blanton's,
Just like that.
Blanton shakes my hand and was like, you know, I'm sorry for all this. He was like, next time. I was like, I hope there's never next time. He was like, if anything happens, just call me directly. Don't go to anyone else. The communication's not good here.
You don't say.
We did the same thing when we went in for the tip-em.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They fucking
Scattered.
scattered. Just the
Yeah.
girl at the...
I mean, they scattered when I dropped the Jeep off.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what Jeep
Scattered.
it was.
I'm leaving though, and Blanton's was like, talk to you tomorrow. And I turned around and I was like, I mean this in the nicest way. I hope I never talk to you again.
The
Ever.
only person in that department with the
And I
seven
walked out.
balls is the girl that works the cash register.
That's usually the case.
I
And
mean, it
now-
is 2024, so.
Well,
Here we are.
the worst part is, like, I don't want to bring this up, but I'm going to.
Do it.
Is that Jeep is still untested?
No.
No.
No, it's been 2 weeks now. She's driven it a
I've
bunch.
had it
It's
2
fine.
weeks.
So what do you
again,
know? What do you know? The transmission fixed the problem. And,
But it was just a sensor in the transmission.
And they didn't have to replace the whole transmission. They could have just put a valve body in it.
Okay, so you should talk about that. Why I go pee about the fact that I think my theory is that everyone is a technician and just like checks off a box now, and they've made
No, they don't diagnose. The dealership doesn't
They
diagnose
don't
anymore.
break
changes.
things down. They don't tear
Yeah.
down and build back. Because it's basically like, let's make it plug and play like a
Yeah.
fucking PC.
Yeah.
Right? So you just, and so they're not going to replace
It
one
is,
component.
it is an industry-wide problem.
Well, this comes
but-
back full circle is because it's not a car. It's not a car. It's an appliance. Your Jeep is not a car. It is an appliance. It is there for one purpose, to get you to and from where you need to go.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's an industry-wide problem. There are good dealerships and good shops that are willing to take we've changed valve bodies before. It's not a difficult process.
No,
Like,
not at all.
there's no reason they
Except on hers.
yeah, well, right, but as soon as we honestly this is the catch-22 from the shop perspective is we could have just said fuck that dealership, pay us $800, we're going to put the part in and you'll be good to go, and this would have been solved last Christmas.
I just don't see how the dealerships actually save money by having their own technicians now. So, like, back in the day, you could just take your vehicle to a certified mechanic
Yep.
or authorized mechanic,
Yep.
and they would do the work, and you get your vehicle back with the same warranty, coverage, all that
Yep.
stuff. Nowadays, you have to go to technicians that may or may not know what the fuck they're doing.
So, to piggyback on an episode Tim and I did earlier today, there is a
Future
lot,
Past.
Future Past. There is the Right to Repair Act is currently a big push because manufacturers are locking it down, and this is an exact reason against the manufacturers being the only place to go. Right? You're basically forcing the consumer to go to one place because it's getting harder and harder and harder for us to diag it and do it properly, right? So it's what is your quality of service, and it's very much a case by case basis. This is not a broad spectrum Jeep dealership issue. This is specifically the one dealership and the people involved in this process that screwed it up, and it literally was as simple as, hey, sorry about that. Bad components happen, i.e., the fuel pumps in
Yeah, the fuel
Zanesburg, Ohio.
Oh my god,
Zanesville.
you said fuel pump, and I forgot after the tip
Oh
up-
boy.
Well,
Microphone.
Sorry, I forgot. I forgot. You said
Part
fuel
4.
pump. You said fuel pump, and I forgot before they ever told me it was the tip 'em again. Remember they said you didn't
Did
put
they
it
really
in right?
try and blame a fuel pump
They
on this?
said it was the fuel pump.
Fuel pump relay.
The fuel pump relay.
Has nothing to do with it.
They said it was the fuel pump relay. So I forgot about that.
And on that bombshell,
Yeah, we really should just end there because this is another hour
Oh,
getting into
yeah.
diagnostics and everything else.
I think
And
we have to
on
come
that
back and drink more
bombshell.
whiskey and talk more slander.
I think we should come back and drink whiskey without doing a podcast one day because I actually want to drink
I do
whiskey
too.
more.
I
but
do
that's
too.
it's
beside
more
point.
I like the learning about the whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, it's also good company because Giuseppe and Kayla are
Yeah.
awesome to hang out
Yeah.
with.
Not that my wife would drink whiskey, but she might be able to drive us. But I'm going to be in trouble because she was 100% right. I am not back until after 11 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm in trouble.
I told my wife
Oh, I am
we'd be
too.
back around 9.
That's what did I.
Future me,
Make her
duck.
cocktails. I can make her cocktails that she would like.
Oh, it's a good point.
Done. And
Yeah.
on that bombshell.
Baby's DD.
Oh,
Kayla,
fuck yeah.
take the mic.
Oh, the mic.
I appreciate you, and I'm very sorry for your story. That is a shitty fucking. I mean, it's a great story.
Oh.
We talked about it for 3 hours. It's a
incredible.
great story.
Well, we talked about it for like an hour and a half. The other an hour and a half was an ADD-ridden whiskey side quest.
And what Tim's about to ask is, where can everyone find you on Insta?
Where can people find you on social media? Because you have multiple, and they're very good. You post on social media regularly.
I do.
You post good content.
It was good.
It was okay.
She's a strong fucking lady. Don't fuck with her.
I mean, I
Or her
just
She's not slave. How dare
Stands
you?
out in my head is this one.
All that crossfitting.
all that powerlifting.
It's CrossFit's the same thing. CrossFit is powerlifting with jumping.
That is
no technique.
more insulting than anything
Thank
I've
you.
said tonight.
Yeah.
Don't let Lauren hear this.
It was a joke.
For all powerlifting, coffee related content and anime and manga, that's Doc Amadeo, Doc_Amadeo. But
Doc,
for
not
whiskey,
Miss.
it's the Boozy Prof.
Yeah, it's all really good content. I appreciate all of it. I appreciate you. Thank you for inviting us back to your house.
Of course,
And,
anytime.
And having
Make sure you listen to all 3 parts of the episode.
It's one part.
Yeah, but jump ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't feel bad about skipping around on this
yeah.
one.
No, I do appreciate it. It's always fun coming here and hang out with you guys. Your house is beautiful. I didn't know where the door was.
One of these days, we're gonna do a fun podcast with you that isn't anger.
The first one was fun.
Yeah.
There's no anger
I think that was the
there.
last time we had a positive conversation with Kayla.
So can we make it a
Kayla Amadeo in the Chamber of Whiskey.
can we make
Whiskey secrets.
can we make it a pact by the end of the year to go camping and wheeling?
Is it a blood pact? Are we?
Everyone bump
Are
Kayla.
we cutting the
Bump her.
palms of our hands right now?
I don't want to bump because I don't know if I'm going to be allowed.
Yeah, that's kind of a.
I'll be allowed.
Are we
Yeah, you
cutting our
can
hands
go.
right now? Are we blood
No,
siblings?
if anything, Kayla is going to be our Kentucky Bourbon Overland Trail
Fuck
guide.
yeah!
Let's do
Oh
it.
yeah.
Trail Guide Barbie.
We'll bring a spare transmission.
Strong Barbie.
Strong Barbie.
No,
Strong
yeah,
Barbie.
you're strong, Barbie. You're strong,
We're
Barbie.
bringing a spare transmission on that trip, though.
I was really sad because you guys like hyped up Moab, and I told Giuseppe, I was like, we're gonna go camp in Moab. I wanted to, I was hoping to meet my
God, that
man
would've been
Matt's off-road recovery.
That
Like,
would have been.
I'm obsessed.
He's Sand Hollow.
Sand Hollow, yeah.
I know, but he goes up there sometimes.
That's like 4 hours away.
Sometimes he's
No,
up there.
no, Trailmater. Rory Irish.
Rory is
Yeah.
great.
He's based out of Moab. We drove by a shop multiple times.
Yeah.
And I was towed past the shop.
He actually drove past
I
us
can't.
in
I
town.
kicked myself because I'm like, why are we here? I want to do a bunch of podcasts, and I forgot all about Roy Irish.
Oh my gosh, he's so awesome. Trailmater's awesome. Anyway, but all those guys are awesome. And, my dream is to go out there and have fun and get to meet them. And
Don't worry,
then,
we're gonna go back.
So
and
yeah,
then,
when you want
anytime
I didn't
soon,
have a
but we're going
transmission.
back.
I
It'll be
mean,
10 years.
then
Yeah.
again, PJ also
Don't worry, we're
like,
shipping our Jeeps next time.
had to replace half of his Jeep on the trail.
That's last week's
Okay,
episode. We
listen,
just talked about
yeah.
that.
His repairs.
That's a lot of slander
his
too.
repairs were still better than anything you dealt with.
Well, that's because they got diagnosed properly, for the
By
most
you all.
part. Maybe.
Well, we diagnosed them before they were an issue. Then they became an
Diagnosed them
issue
2
in
weeks
Ohio.
before we had to fix them.
On that
Through text
bombshell,
message.
On
We
that
gotta-
note,
On that bombshell.
we got to go home because we're all in trouble.
Oh,
You're
word.
I'm still in trouble.
No. If we're in trouble, Tim's definitely in trouble.
Nah, that'll be
I
fine.
literally said, I don't know how long we're gonna be, so dinner's on you.
Well,
Love you, honey.
Carrie said to me, she goes, "Oh, so you're gonna be back late, like after 11?" I was like, "No, we'll be back by like
And
10:30 to
To be fair,
And then I backed
don't
him
think
up
I'll
on
be
it.
in trouble because the only qualification was, oh, so I'll be on my own for putting him to sleep, and I went, yes.
Oh,
After being gone for a week and a half. Thank you, honey.
Hey, I stayed home with him for a whole week because he was sick.
your
So
future wife, I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
When
we're
you listen
signing
to
off.
this on your way to work for the third time,
Yeah.
Actually, knowing you won't even make it to this far.
Signing off.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Trevor's hollering. I appreciate you guys. If you made it this far, and probably this is our longest episode ever.
If you made it this far,
this
you
is
get a,
JRE level.
you get
Yeah.
a firm handshake.
Yeah, shoot us a message.
Wait, is this longer than the first one we did?
Yeah,
oh,
by
yeah.
like an hour and a half.
We're 3 hours into this. But
You're
we're signing off. I can't sign off. All right, thanks, guys.
Kayla, your first. So I come back out with my hot dogs and I'm like, let's see.
Glizzed up, if you will.
Yeah, I'm double glizzed up on a Tuesday.
Throwing hot dogs at it.